Hi, Scouty Paws. Sorry, I'm just struggling. I'll respond to YouTube chat in a second. Hello, Breeb. I hope you guys are all good. Come Armageddon, come Armageddon, come. Hello, everyone. Morning. Well, it's afternoon for me. I feel absolutely awful today. I feel like just dreadful. This is one of the worst I felt in ages. I drank too many beers and it was too hot and I slept badly. So I'm tired. And now I'm covered in water. Lovely way to start the stream. Yeah, sorry. Hello everyone. Hello all in the chat on YouTube. I'm just doing some shit. I hope you guys are all good. I haven't been here in a little bit. I really did not want to stream today, I'll be honest with you, but I was like, shit, I haven't streamed in 2 days and I'd rather not make it 3, so figured may as well do it, and here we are, you know. I'm streaming, I'm having a nice Sunday, apart from feeling like shit and there's so much water everywhere. It's not a good one. Today is a horrible day for a hangover. It is not a good day. It is not a good day, I will say. Oh. If anything starts to piss me off today, I'll probably go postal. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Obviously, I'm a silly little joke, but yeah, that'll probably tell me off. Tired Chris on Sunday. We can't have that. I know. Right, we'll do the Wordle. Tired. Chris drinking from his giant piss jug again. We know that's not water. Hell yeah. How do you know? Hello, Ravy baby. It's Sabbath day. It is indeed. I'm gonna do. Oh fuck. Oh. I'm gonna do conal actually. Oh, that's not a word. Moans. I'm gonna do that. See if we get. The fuck? Chung?
I love burgers!
Not as in Chungus. Chunny? Hey, Screamo Comrade, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Thank you for throwing the Prime my way. Always appreciated, my man. Goated. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone who's hopping in. So I'm on vacation. We drove for like 12 hours in a 7... the sea and just go and find out the damn beach is full of trash. That doesn't surprise me. In the UK, every river is just filled with piss and like garbage. It's actually kind of insane. I think you might be right. It's chunk. Oh, clunk? Is that? That's the only thing I think it could be. I only know what that is from. Jimmy Savile used to have a TV show called Clunk Click, I think, and that's where I would know that term as like actually being a word. I'm interested in clunking about. Clank, clunk. I don't fucking know. I'm trying my best today. Okay, I'm trying my best. Clung. No, I ended in a K. Okay, right. Buddy cop, neo-noir. Spaghetti, Space Jury, Pan's Labyrinth. Labyrinth is that film, isn't it? Clunk Click Every Trip, that's it, yeah. He did a seatbelt campaign as well. Every bush is filled with rubbish too. Every alleyway in Feltham, where I used to live, it was full of old shit. Is that in the UK? Is Feltham in the UK? Feltham? I've never been there. Just in the UK, it is unfortunately like this. Every river is just filled with shit and sewage. It's disgusting. Chemicals, and also sun cream ruins beaches. I don't know if any of you knew that, but sun cream apparently ruins beaches. So when you have a huge congregation of people, they ruin it. Yeah, I know they could be movie genres, but there's too many. So that's a movie genre. That's a movie genre. Is space opera is not specifically a movie genre though. Wait, hold on. Recalibrate, change tack, shift gears. Then there's another one. Corduroy, course correct. So these are all like change what you're doing. Take a different approach. Caps. Buddy cop, neo-noir, spaghetti western. And what's the other? Caps for sale, escape room. Oh. Are some of these David Bowie films or something? Because I know David Bowie's in Labyrinth, right? The only other one I can think of is in June. Star Wars is a space opera. Is that so? Oh my god, that is actually it. Jesus Christ. I didn't even know. I don't know what a space opera is. The only thing I can think of with a space opera is that episode of BoJack Horseman where Todd makes a space rock opera. But I suppose that's a space rock opera. Okay. Chord. Labyrinth, Goodnight, Moon. No. Dream, Moon. No. Caps for sale, CFS, nearly CPS. Shouldn't talk about that. Places where you're trapped. Labyrinth. Oh, Labyrinth, Jury Duty, Bad Dream, and Escape Room. Places people try to get out of. Wow, that was a good one. Classic children's books. What on earth is Caps for sale? I've never heard of such a thing. Sting is in June, not Bowie, right? Oh yeah, Bowie's not in June. Bowie's in he's in a Christopher Nolan film. Is he in The Prestige? He's also just randomly in Twin Peaks, the movie, the Fire Walk with Me. But Bowie is in The Prestige, isn't he? Or is he not? I've just seen Christopher Nolan talk about it. I haven't seen no, David Bowie is in The Prestige. I haven't seen The Prestige since I was a kid. Oh, shit, actually, wait. Hold on. I forgot about this. Okay, so, my friend, who, if any of you have watched the Sudan episode of the podcast, the Sudan episode of the No Politic Here podcast, they sent me this, which is oh my god, I'm just trying to get the link, which is a community kitchen in Sudan that helps internally displaced Sudanese people across Sudan, Chad, and neighboring countries. And basically, their funding has somewhat run out, so they're running a Go Fund With Me, like Chuffed style thing. So if anyone is interested and would like to support, I'll stick a link to it here. My friend Athena reminded me or told me that about this. Covey, as you may know her, she did a great episode of the No Politic Here podcast. Just reminded me about this. Hold on. Politic Here. I forgot about this. Sorry. She sent me it yesterday. So. Let me find it. So the Covey is in episode number 24 of No Politic Here, and this is it. I'm afraid to help, to be honest, for obvious reasons. What, because you live in the UAE? I don't know if you can do it from the UAE. But yeah, Athena told me about it, and so I'll try and promote this a bit more. But yeah, it's just like a kitchen, and they also, it says here that they run a multitude of different things. But my blanks block GoFundMe. Really? I think we're gonna put this link there today because Athena asked me to, and you know, she was such a fantastic guest on the podcast, and so I'll just leave it up, and you know, it's a good and important cause. Do Saudi banks block GoFundMe payments? That's crazy. I didn't know that. I'd never heard of that before. Streamlabs bot seems dead. Is it? I don't know why it's doing that. It's fucking Streamlabs. But yeah. If anyone would like to, I've just dropped a link there, and I'll post about it in the Discord as well, and hopefully I'll do a TikTok or an Instagram video. Via Chaff to Palestine a year ago. Bot seems dead. I don't know why the bot's dead. Fuck knows. Okay, right. Okay, right. I'm gonna get into some news stuff then. Fuck it, let's go. The UK. By the way, I don't know if any of you live in the UK, okay? So this is Hyde Park, which is one of the big central parks in London. It's one of the big, nice central parks in London. Wait, apparently the link's not working. Well, the link does work, so it must just be something you specific. But yeah, it works. So yeah. Anyway, so this is Hyde Park in London. This is what it normally looks like. This is what it currently looks like. By the way, the bot is actually working on YouTube. It seems the issue seems to be on on YouTube, on Twitch. I don't know why. All I know about Hyde Park is where stoners gather on 420. You are correct about that. You are correct about that. Hyde Park is fine. It's not somewhere I'd regularly go. But anyway, look what it looks like right now. Look at the transition. Look at the transition between the two and just how fucking crazy that is. And by the way, this isn't just like an aesthetic thing. The situation in the UK is actually kind of quite bad. We're about to have had the most days break 30 degrees in a singular year already. So the previous amount was like 33 from 1995. And this year we're now going to have had, we have 33 already. And this week we're 100% hitting it. The heat is coming back big style in the UK. I bet you have a lot of UK. I don't actually have that many UK followers, to be honest. I really don't. I really don't have that many UK followers. It's much more Americans, Canadians, and such. There was a brush fire near my work site. Fucking crazy. Do they plant native or non-native grass? Whereabouts? I don't know. The UK is not doing well. Who fucking knows? I don't know what kinds of grass they're planting there. Something 1976 was a hot summer, so climate change is fake. Good point. Good point. Good. Yeah. We're reaching levels that people had never even thought possible, you know. The levels of Ben Shapiro and his maiden wife. What is Ben Shapiro's wife called? Is she like a public figure? But I've been to Hyde Park. Wow. Yeah, I mean, the stuff happening in the UK is like just bad. Like it's really, really something that we're not prepared for. And the UK will actually, I don't know if any of you have read about this. The UK is going to run out of water. We haven't built a new reservoir in the UK since 1990. We haven't built it since 1992, I think. And we just don't have enough water. It's really fucked up. Well, all of Wales is in drought, which I'm guessing from your name, you're based in Wales. I seem to recall it anyway. But I seem to recall and remember you mentioning as well. But yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. It's bad things are happening in the UK. I don't know what grass it is, but definitely isn't the devil's grass. Right, let's stick this on. Got a massive blister on my feet.
With yet another heat wave on the horizon, an early warning has been issued to health and social care providers in large parts of England that adverse temperatures may impact the population from today until Tuesday evening. According to Natural England, many parts of England and Wales will face a very high risk of wildfires for days to come, with the risk expected to rise to exceptional.
Yeah, it is illegal to. It's not. It's. You get fined £1,000 if you get caught using a hose in like multiple parts of England. I need to reach £1,000 so I can turn on my hose pipe regularly. That's my dream.
In some places by Wednesday. And meanwhile, across Europe, emergency services continue to battle multiple fires that are already burning, as Amelia Jen reports.
Candace Owens is that bad. Candace Owens is really, really, really bigoted and also incredibly anti-Semitic. She held up a book that's like really old-timey anti-Semitic stuff. Like it's called The Talmudic Jew by August Röhling. It's like a very, very, very bigoted thing.
Historic wildfires tore through France and Spain last month. The EU's emergency...
Do you know about Kapelkellen? Kapelkellen or Drivern? I don't know. Evacuated a Welsh village so they could flood it to create a reservoir for Liverpool. No, I've never heard of that. That's really interesting.
Response teams said by August, all of Europe could be alight. Something firefighters in Serbia are now seeing for themselves as they tackle the flames from above. While on the ground, heartbroken families watch on, powerless, as the flames approach their homes. Last night, 200 people were evacuated from Lake Garda in Italy. This, another year of record temperatures across what is now the fastest heating continent on Earth. With hot, dry and windy conditions across the EU, 43% more severe this year than the 20-year average.
I'm trying my best, man. I'm not so good at pronouncing Welsh names. Non-disabled losers banned from using your hose pipe. I'm allowed because of my unique abilities. Yeah, if you have autism, you're allowed to use the hose pipe, I've heard. So trying to get up on the hose pipe. I don't know, you just look at the way that the UK looks, and also that all of our political discourse is just fucking idiots talking about, you know, immigration and just being like, Britain's falling apart. I don't know what the country's like. Soon there's going to be none of the country you remember because it's all going to be burned down and it's going to have nothing to do with immigrants.
In the UK, authorities are bracing for yet another heatwave next week.
If we look at the last 5 summers in the UK...
Eventually, actually, what's going to happen is you're all going to die because people who've come over from and sought refuge in the UK and have fled over from countries that are warmer and more used to the heat, and natural selection will kick in, and then there'll be no white people left in the UK, and it'll be not the immigrants' fault, but the weather's fault and our fault.
We've consistently had at least 4 heat waves in each summer, and that's really unusual. This is not our normal weather. It's increasingly extreme because of climate change. What it means is that we're all more likely to be exposed to extreme weather and what we call this climate whiplash effect, where we are experiencing wetter winters and then drier, hotter summers.
According to the Environment Agency, next week could see more areas join the half of England already in drought. And following wildfires from the Cairngorms in Scotland to the Suffolk coast,
it has rained like 1 time in the UK. Hey, Crochet Cat, happy birthday. I hope you're having a lovely birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. I hope you're having a great day.
Almost all of the east and southeast of England is, from Sunday, at a higher risk of a wildfire becoming exceptionally severe.
It was moving so fast towards...
Yeah, one of the things going on in the UK is loads of our water infrastructure just leaks loads of water, so it kind of means that we don't end up... It kind of means that we end up wasting so much water that we could be using, you know, when we're in a drought, and they need to repair that infrastructure as soon as possible.
The house, it was very scary.
Bruce Wilson rushed to help put out this field fire on a neighbour's farm in Moulton, North Yorkshire, during early July's heatwave.
Quite a few years ago, there was times when you were really struggling in the field at this time of the year because it was sinking, it was that wet. But for the last few years, we do seem to be getting a much hotter, drier summers, and obviously the fire risk is a lot higher.
Farmers across the country have been reporting diminished yields, with the National Farmers Union warning of some food.
Morning, Honey Clown. Morning, everyone who's hopping on. As I've already pre-warned people, I'm not at my best today, yeah. I'm a little bit hungover. I'm also insanely tired, but I'm glad to have you all here. And once again, as always, anyone on Twitch has that Prime membership, throw that shit my way. You know how it gets.
Shortages if the drought continues.
Harvest time has certainly got much earlier. About 25 years ago, it became many wheat back in August, September time. September used to be the harvest month, but
it is really exciting how the UK is experiencing a bad harvest. So too are most of the places that supply our fruit, food and such. That all of these things are just basically building up together, coupled with the Strait of Hormuz, which is fantastic. You were drinking Guinness. I do not drink Guinness. I find it disgusting. Although I did have my first shot of alcohol in years. Like, I don't drink shots because they normally make me a bit sicky. So I had a shot of tequila last night, and I kind of enjoyed it.
now, there's people combining wheat in July, which you can only put down to these hotter, drier.
I mean, it's not. See, the thing is I think quite often, like, I do actually agree with you. Obviously, the thing is that we probably are heading towards like a catastrophe that has to be reckoned with, or really bad things will happen in the future. But the other thing that's in the here and now, as opposed to the doom, is just spiraling food prices upwards that create some kind of crisis in the UK. No, the thing about the UK and rain is this winter was so incredibly wet. There was a huge amount of rain this winter and up until summer, but we don't really have anywhere to store it in the UK because we don't have a reservoir. We don't have enough reservoirs, and we also just waste so much water.
Summers where
No, I was drinking a Bristol lager called Infinity, if any of you are from Bristol.
the crops are dying off much faster rather than ripening.
Governments across the globe are having to scramble to mitigate against climate change driven at pace by fossil fuel.
Do you know what is currently happening? For the first time ever without a raid, my Twitch might overtake the amount of viewers I have on YouTube right now, which is fucking crazy. But goated.
Pollution. Last month, the UK was forced to curb electricity exports to Europe to preserve supplies as demand for aircon shot up and the heat drove power plant efficiency down. Andy Burnham has so far been tight-lipped on his environmental plans, including the future of drilling for oil and gas in the North Sea. Today, just as London's Mayor Sadiq Khan called for the Prime Minister to reaffirm his commitment.
No, my girlfriend didn't leave me. I'm just drinking. I was just drinking with my guys. Hell yeah, I know, it's fucking crazy. The Twitch keeps proving itself to just never stop growing. I don't know how. I don't think YouTube is washed, and I do enjoy making videos. I kind of need to find my feet with that, because I look at the clavicular video and I was like, oh, it didn't do that well. But it got 40k views, and when you're not actually a content creator that, like, who does that kind of stuff, pretty decent. But no, the Twitch I think has actually just taken over the YouTube, which is crazy.
To net zero. The new Energy Secretary, Miatta Fahnbulleh, in her interview with the Times newspaper, hinted that the government could water down net zero targets on electric cars and clean energy in an effort to improve the cost of living.
Well, earlier I spoke to Clover Hogan, who is on the independent board advising London Mayor Sadiq Khan on climate issues. I began by asking her why she thought that the effects of climate change weren't treated as a matter of far greater urgency by governments.
I think many of us within the climate community for many years have thought, once there's that evidence on our doorstep.
I like the concept of the climate community, except for the fact that we all exist in the climate community, where everyone, it's just the community. I know that's not what she's saying, but
Governments will finally be compelled to act. And yet we have, leaders such as Andy Burnham, who's just stepped into 10 Downing Street, turning around and saying, well, maybe we need to keep fossil fuels in the mix. Maybe we need more oil and gas exploration. We need to be pragmatic. And that's exactly the opposite of what the science is saying we need to do.
I'll tell you what the science is saying. All glory to Xi Jinping. Go balls to the wall investing in their energies. The Chinese energies are going to go absolutely crazy. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be bullish on Chinese energy. I'd be taking all of the granddads and grandmas' pensions, shoving that shit into, basically just into... shoving that shit into Chinese renewables, and that would be the end of it, because I love China and we should all respect it, especially after I watched Girl with a Microphone on the H3 podcast tell me about how nice China is to queer people. I think that's what she was talking about. I don't listen.
Well, let's stick with Andy Burnham then, since you bring him up. He hasn't said yet quite what he's going to do about the climate, or whether he's going to approve these two huge oil and gas fields, Jackdaw and Rosebank. But that decision could be imminent. What sort of signal do you think it would send if those big oil and gas fields do get approved?
I think it would be a real betrayal, to be completely honest. Andy Burnham, as mayor of Manchester, really took on a climate mandate. And just over a year ago, he actually signed on and endorsed the fossil fuel non-proliferation.
Do you know what's crazy? If everyone in the UK went vegetarian, it would actually have such a positive impact. But at the same time, what are you going to do? Enforce that? And then Nigel Farage will be like, they won't let you eat beef. They won't let you eat beef. This is to make you gay. They're trying to make you gay by not giving you beef. And he'll win the election off it. And then we have to spend 4 years of stripping back the climate for then him to be replaced by some milquetoast character like Andy Burnham, who's like, yeah, climate change is a real thing, but like, I don't really fancy doing anything about it. Which is just a wonderful, wonderful way to exist and live your lives. It does bring up the question of, should we ban democracy? Guys, I'm gonna, let me just start a poll. Democracy. Yes. No. I'm not even, I am semi-joking, but at a certain point, it is such a, it is such a contradictory existence to live under democracy, where you kind of have this, knowledge that it doesn't change anything, and the most important issues around you just aren't being changed. And the fact that just every few years, these fucking idiots can just come in and undermine this in spite of all of the science promoting the opposite. When I talk about people struggling for democracy, I think they're struggling for a choice of how to rule themselves. But in the context of us, we're not struggling. We don't have that. We just have the same thing for whatever we do, and it's crap. A transgender vegan was the biggest insult they could think of in America. So on Turf Island, it's probably a knockout win. God. Speaking of transphobes, did any of you ever like Ricky Gervais's comedy? Because, I like The Office. I think Extras is pretty good. I watched Derek when I was younger, and I thought, wow, this is good. But it's not. It's fine. I like Stephen Merchant is just very funny. Ricky Gervais's new show is so shit. I've seen clips of it. It is so fucking bad. Ricky Gervais's show sucks. Nope, overrated. Really, you never liked The Office or anything? The Office was pretty good. What else did he make? Ricky Gervais. Now what becomes of you, my love, when they have finally stripped you of? So many of his shows are shit. Afterlife, I think, is crap. Afterlife is crap. Oh, God. All of his films are so dumb as well. The Invention of Lying, the one where Ricky Gervais is the only person in the world who can lie? That is an incredible film. Look at this. Yes, that dress makes you look fat. It's not me, it's you. Your baby is so ugly, it's like a little rat. In a world where everyone can only tell the truth, the invention of lying. This guy can lie. God, someone should replace that face with, I don't know, who's someone that we don't like? Ethan Klein. Was obviously blackface. The 90s were wild. Is Ricky Gervais a sex pest or just a bigot? Just a bigot, as far as I know. The Idiot Abroad stuff is funny. You know the one where he's somewhere and all the kids are like jumping off they're jumping off this like tower into like some mud, and he's like, you know, everyone, Carl Pilkington's like, everyone says, oh, you should let kids be outside more, that you shouldn't give them an Xbox. And he's like, if this is the alternative to the Xbox, then I'd rather have the kids have an Xbox. But yeah, Ricky Gervais he's like posting about his stupid fucking cat show, which I can't even describe. You cannot pay me to watch Alley Cats. Unless Isaac says we need to review Alley Cats for the podcast. But this guy is like posting about, sorry if you're offended by my cats. And it just looks crap. Go watch the clip that's on his thing. By the way, the poll has ended. Democracy, we've decided that we will not have democracy. So that's good to know. So now you guys have absolutely no say in whatever I do. And I will be doing whatever I please all the time. So that's good. Right, let's get back to the climate emergency stuff. You guys have just voted any semblance of democracy here out of existence, so well done for that.
Proliferation Treaty. So he agreed. He said, you know, we can't have new oil and gas exploration. He said that, you know, this is a really important piece of, policy that governments need to sign on to. And yet the fact that he's, failed to commit, I think, sends a really confusing signal that actually goes against what the general UK population wants to see. The UK...
La boo-boo. Super I'm Platinum Man. I first saw your clip of Kahana on Middle East Eye. It's insane that there aren't any YouTube videos or YouTube articles about him online. Yeah, I mean, there are a decent amount of books. Sean McGee has an okay book about him. Sean McGee's a bit of a weird guy and they talk about him. I've always wanted to make a YouTube video about him, but there is actually a way more important rabbi in Israel called Rabbi Abraham Isaac Kook. He's way more important to the actual settler movement. Kahana's more important to the fringe, and what Kahana really normalized is like, openly talking about transfer, like just openly being like, every Arab has to go. Actually, you know what Ilan Pape told me? He told me the only thing that Kahana brought that was special was that he thought Palestinians living inside in the, 48 Palestine, he wanted to expel all of them too. That was his main advert. But thank you so much for the $5. Incredibly kind. Thanks for supporting the channel and making streaming possible. Free the Twitch viewers from this dictatorship. That's the thing. You guys didn't send your mail-in ballots by checking over to the YouTube channel, so you're done for, Blam.
The population wants to see action on climate change.
How do you explain then this disconnect? Because it's not just in politics, is it? It is out there amongst at least part of the population, between parts of the UK.
God, the fact that you're having this conversation of like, how do you explain that disconnect? Yeah, it has a pretty simple answer, mate. It's money. It's money. Money is the issue. For years, I preached about the positive things I experienced when I became vegan. That actually had an impact towards my family, and now eat less red meat and meat products overall. Yeah, I will say I do know a few people who have been vegan for like most of their lives and have changed in recent years, where they're like, I needed energy, so I started eating eggs because they exercise a ton, and I can see the problem happening there. But I know you can sustain a vegan diet. You just have to be very, very on it with the supplements and making sure you get as much energy as possible. But no, I can see the positives of doing way more of that. Did you see they're making a Boo movie? Yeah, it's called The Chris Guns the Stream, Jules, and I'm the star of it. So why did you come in and start fucking talking about it and asking me, oh, do you know of this? No, of course I damn know about it. It's about me. This whole fucking Labubu movie is about me. That's a Breaking Bad reference.
Europe, the US being on fire, and yet people are calling, some of them, for a more gradual pathway towards net zero and to continue drilling for oil and gas, for example.
I mean, the sad reality is that the fossil fuel industry has infiltrated the highest levels of decision-making and politics. And
speaking about the concept of democracy here, are we really living in a democracy when it's just like fossil fuel gets him. And also, do you think we can really live in a democracy, like a worldwide democracy, with America existing, where Andy Burnham is pretty clearly doing the Red Sea drilling kind of stuff for the sole reason of basically to appease Trump, because otherwise Trump will put on tariffs? Also, what's going on?
This is an industry that has spent so much money and decades trying to slow climate progress.
There are also people in this country who would say, well, the UK has decarbonised faster than pretty much any other advanced economy. And so they feel that we've done...
Nobody be mean to me today. I've cried too much already. Is that when you found out that I was slightly hungover at the start of the stream and it's just a tough one? I know it's a tough one, but don't worry. I'm actually one of the UK's bravest soldiers. So yeah, I'm hungover, but I'm fighting on. There are very limited people who have actually fought in the way that I have to beat this hangover. But no, I hope you're doing okay. I am the labubu that knocks. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. Imagine if Walter got into the labubu business. I also really want to make a YouTube video about Breaking Bad and symbolic castration. I think it's a great topic for the video, because I love this whole thing of like Walter's hubris and his inability to ever be castrated in any situation is what leads to his downfall. But I love it. I want to make a thing about that. I want to make a video about that. But I don't know how people would react if I just like randomly uploaded a video about Breaking Bad. I don't know. Maybe I will do that. I doubt. You know what? I bet you Isaac hasn't seen Breaking Bad. Isaac, whenever I ask him, have you seen anything? He just goes, no, bro. What's that? Fucking idiot. We have a capitalist democracy, which isn't truly democratic. I'm trying to change that. We have it. That's the thing about the Chris Kunze YouTube. Not only is it not a capitalist democracy, it's not even a democracy. Some people are saying communism, but you don't really get a choice here.
Our fair share. They look around the world and see what's happening elsewhere and say, well, perhaps it's time for someone else to take the lead. In a time of a cost of living crisis, people feel maybe that, maybe they can't afford any more sacrifices right now.
I would say it's a very short-term way of looking at the issue, because as we know, climate change is already costing us billions of pounds. And so the longer we try and, delay this issue and say, well, it's someone else's problem down the line, it's the next government's problem, the bigger that bill is going to become for people in this country.
Do you think people are feeling anxious about this in their own lives? They look around and they feel helpless.
Yeah, definitely. I think
yeah, but people would just rather have us. Also, by the way, the thing she just talked about there of how like it's just kicking the can down the road. Definitely, but no government can address this, because at your heels is always some moronic Nigel Farage style government that's just gonna just do absolute crap. Just gonna do absolute crap to make things worse.
A lot of young people feel really, really anxious. But again, we've all experienced the impacts of the heat waves. And if you can't afford to live somewhere that's air conditioned, if you don't have the infrastructure, you're going to feel anxious about the state of the world, and to realize that, this is just a trailer of what's to come. And I think people want to see genuine leadership. And the other thing is, by investing in climate solutions, we can also invest in, better infrastructure for people and making people's lives better.
And just finally, Clover, it is also people's livelihoods. Particularly, for instance, in the northeast of Scotland, they've already lost thousands of jobs. If you're saying turn off the taps, that has real life consequences too.
Well, obviously, we're not going to turn off the...
I think when these people like lose jobs, they should just be given like a stake in OpenAI or something to that effect. Or they should be like given an AI model and just not be made to work, and they can just do whatever with the AI. They can talk to it, they can generate cool images, they can generate films with it. They can do as they please. It's their prerogative.
Taps tomorrow. That's not going to happen. Unfortunately, we have delayed for so long that means that we now need to take much more drastic measures than we would have done if we'd really gotten ahead of this issue 10, 15, 20 years ago. Our energy bills are just going to continue to go up if we, continue to defend fossil fuels. So we need a transition, and we need to prioritize the most vulnerable people in this country in that transition.
Clover Hogan, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
It is kind of crazy because, yeah, as I say, I just don't see how we fucking fix it. And it's just, I don't know. I can't wait for when it's 32 degrees and I'm debating people on TikTok. What I'm thinking, by the way, guys, is unless it's a really snow news day, I'll just throw on debates every now and again, not all the time. Okay, right, let's do this. Let's do some Ethan Klein lawsuit stuff. So, I'm sure as some of you know, Ethan Klein has had a fantastic week. So one of you sent me this video, which, by the way, of course, I'd already seen. I'm a real Ethan Klein head. I know what's going on. I just don't always talk about it. He had some nice words to say about tens of thousands of desperate people.
60,000 people all at once.
Yeah,
They're like swimming.
they're just like running from the ocean into inland.
It's like some medieval type of like freaking. It's like some kind of crazy water invasion. So here you can see, and
I love when I'm hearing about the crazy medieval water invasion.
guess the city's pretty small. It's like a city of 60,000, so their population like doubles immediately.
Jesus. But yeah, there's another rant where he's talking about something and how Jewish people are being persecuted like 1948. But we'll leave that for now, and we'll throw on a nice video about. So, I keep messing up. I thought it was Stephen A. Sark, but that's not it. It's Oh no, it is Stephen A. Sark or Asarch or Azarch. Stephen has been in here once before, but he managed to get his hands on the H3 and Idubbbz settlement, and it's incredible to say the least. He is genuinely trying to sue Idubbbz for $1 million.
So yes, I am suing my former bestie, Idubbbz, and I'll shortly explain why.
So I've managed to get the lawsuit documents between Ethan Klein and Idubbbz.
Hold on. The plaintiffs seek. So, here they are. Well, we'll go through them. I don't need to read through all of this right now. Actually, do you want me to read through it? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to read through it or just let him go a bit? Damn, can't wait to bloodbend certain people when the full moon comes. I know, when there's a total eclipse, terrible things are happening. I'm going to be up to some crazy shit. Is Lemon Mint Cat here? Oh, there he is. I'm not big on debates, couldn't even watch the upload. That is totally fine, you know, it's just, I appreciate it. I know not everyone loves them, and that's your prerogative, 100%. You can do as you please. I don't fucking care. I love you. No, I'm joking. But yeah, totally understand not wanting to watch.
Managed to get the lawsuit documents between Ethan Klein and Idubbbz. And it really wasn't hard.
Ethan had every right to be angry enough to file a lawsuit. Even if you think he's a rich bully and he's bullying people on the internet, there are certain things you can't say about people.
There have been so many lawtubers who have been covering this Ethan Klein Idubbbz story, and none of them got these documents.
Ethan says Ian and Anissa do not uphold an agreement they already signed, resulting in the lawsuit continuing for the time being.
So it looks like everyone on both sides is looking forward to see what this missing piece of information is. So let us know what you think it is in the comments.
All I had to do was spend $25 to the
Is that 25 CAD? Because 25 CAD is such a small amount of money.
Calgary local court, who gave me a list of documents, and then I had to send that list of documents with another $25.
Comrade Stapler, I'm glad to hear, my man. It is a great place to be here with your dearest friend, Chris K. Middle East.
And I got all the documents. So I guess it's just kind of easier to riff on what you think the case would be off of random clips you see online rather than doing the research yourself. So even though I am no lawyer, I do not claim to be a lawyer, I don't really know much law, especially the Canadian legal system. But I saw so much information get spread around this lawsuit. And I was like, I know how to get legal documents. It's not hard. So I just decided, okay, it's now my time and I'm gonna try to do it. Welcome to Steven Mindset. Today we're gonna go through the Ethan Klein / TED Entertainment lawsuit against Ian Joma and Anissa Joma. Now, before, like, there's been so much content that's sort of played out in the public sphere when it comes to this story. The lawsuit itself first broke when Ian shared in a live stream that Ethan Klein was suing him.
It is official. I am being sued by Ethan Klein in the courts of Calgary, Alberta, for defamation.
What the hell's even going on in Calgary, Alberta? What the hell's that all about? The colors are cool, and it's the curiosity that. I'm mad we can't see the logo on it. What? I gotta avoid those. They're good. The one he dropped was with Noah. This one he settled, but I guess he wants to sue again. No, he didn't settle this. So this one, basically, he said, I've instructed my lawyers to stop it. And then as it turns out, it's not the case, apparently.
While pretending to be a dragon, Ian shared a statement from Destiny and questioned its validity.
I mean, it's like the only fucking content they have over there, right? Like,
I saw you edited this, Alex. Good work. I enjoyed it. But yeah, this is obviously, as you all know, this is the crux of the issue. Basically, Ian reported a statement from sex pest and sort of rabid Zionist creep Destiny, who, by the way, there's a really funny clip Isaac sent me. Destiny called Isaac anti-Semitic for one of his thumbnails that had Ethan Klein in. Destiny said that Isaac was trying to do the Merchant of Venice style anti-Semitism on Ethan, by the way. And the crazy thing about Destiny is the guy has a manifesto about why he should be able to say the N-word. Do you not find it kind of funny that all of these people who just mock every other singular instance of racism, bigotry, use slurs and shit like this, when it comes to anti-Semitism, are just like, no, you can't even have a photo of a Jewish guy, that's anti-Semitic.
that podcast is full of talentless hacks.
Because of that, and because Canadian defamation law is way different than United States law, Ethan Klein was able to sue Idubbbz using what I've been able to see is one of the more expensive and largest law firms in the entire world.
Ian has deeply aligned himself with the snark community that I think that people should be held accountable for saying stuff like that, and there should be recourse. There should be accountability. And that's basically what.
But it is just, I do think that's like, the UK has this kind of stuff too, and obviously a lot of it's not liberals, but like GB News, okay? GB News is a very overtly racist platform. But the thing is they when it comes to anti-Semitism, they're just like, oh my god, I love when anti-Semitism. Oh my god, I love Jewish people. Everything is anti-Semitic.
My goal is in this.
And the whole lawsuit seems to frame itself on the idea of snark. On or about February 20th, 2026, Ian Joma displayed an image that another
Does a Reform UK member actually own GB News?
content creator with the online persona Destiny.
Oh my god, this is actually true. So these are some of the statements that by the way, Ethan's lawyer always just writes crazy. This is AI, I think. I'm pretty sure this is done by AI, like an AI subtitle summary of what Ian said, because this isn't even true, okay? So it says, on or about February 20th, 2026, Ian Joma displayed an image that another content creator with the online persona Destiny said Mr. Klein was a pedophile in a video Ian Joma posted online. In the same video, Mr. Joma stated, "It is really odd and creepy that Ethan would harass loads of other people on the internet. He's a small little wimpy man, and I know that Scorch Lagoon had some crazy pedo allegations on screen. I'm pretty sure he was just bringing that up to show up how much of a pussy Ethan Klein is, and how he has heat and smoke for everyone else, but not for Destiny. In fact, he's got Destiny's cock rammed down his throat." That is an interesting thought. That is an interesting thought, the bottom part about that. Marcus, I'm telling you, you can't get up to that. Oh, Stephen, you're here. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just checking this out. Great reporting. Alex was here as well a second ago. I'm going to remove that, Marcus. You can't be talking like that. That's crazy. Marcus, you're not allowed to do that, remember. No, Marcus, there's a couple of list of things. No Soldier F, no accusing people of being pedophiles, because I might get in trouble for that. And Ethan Klein will arrest me forever and I'll have to go to prison. No, I'm familiar with on or about being like legal language. I didn't think that his lawyer was just so dumb that he couldn't work out whether a video was uploaded on February 20th, okay. But I don't really see why it says Scorched Lagoon here instead of Scorched Lagoon, because later on it does say Scorched Lagoon.
And said Mr. Klein was a pedophile in a video that Ian Joma posted online. In the same video, Mr. Joma stated that. A whole bunch of stuff.
Why is this kind of stuff mentioned? Like, why would you mention that someone called you a small, wimpy little man on the internet?
So basically, Ethan in this lawsuit claims that he got a massive amount of damages, and actually that he lost a sponsorship over this claim.
What sponsorship is he alleged to have lost?
Damages, and actually that he lost.
Loss of income. After the defamatory statements were published online, a major advertiser cancelled its contract with TED Inc. Loss of opportunity. The harm to the plaintiff's reputation caused further damage in pursuing... I feel like actually it doesn't matter if you display the defamatory statement, whether you stated it or not. But the thing is that, illegally speaking, I think obviously it was kind of a comedic thing of pointing out that Ethan has no smoke for someone like Destiny, excuse me. Daisy is the name of a familial dog, a family member's dog. Daisy is not obviously Destiny, but has no smoke for Destiny, but then says anything and everything about everyone else.
A sponsorship over this claim. He claims that the subscriber loss and all of the bad things that are happening to his brand are because of this live stream, or at least...
How are you ever going to prove this?
That's what he alludes to in the lawsuit. It doesn't really make sense, because Ethan Klein's reputation was already controversial before this live stream that was watched by a couple hundred people was even online.
Idubbbz said, I am not dropping the lawsuit. And, well, listen, it's a bunch of technical bullshit. It's just we're in negotiating the terms of the settlement still. And that's it. I don't know. It's what it is. You know what I mean? We're negotiating the terms of the settlement.
But if it's a quote, why would Idubbbz have called Scorched Lagoon Scorched Lagoon? It's his character.
It's a meeting about the settlement. That's it. That's all it is. Right? So, whatever. I mean, I tolerate a lot of people saying a lot of things about me, and I have for a long time. It's called accountability, in my opinion. And listen, if I said that about someone else, I would probably just apologize and beg them not to sue me.
I think it's more to do with all of the what I believe to be reckless lawsuits. Don't come after me, H3 fandom. I believe both the Idubbbz side and the Ethan Klein side are kind of iffy in this story. I don't think he could have sued him the way he sued him here in the United States. I think it had to be in Canada. Also, a big part of this lawsuit is the Reddit and the idea of snark.
And I know we have a really good case in Canada, and their lawyer told them that. If he had issued this type of apology, like...
and his posts under the account to have any judge throw this shit out. I don't fucking know enough about the legal system in Canada. I don't fucking know.
To the
of course he has said on his account, like, oh, yeah, he was saying on his account making weird pedo jokes. Hey, Mama Yo10, member for 1 month. Thanks for the month, my goat. I want Ethan to have to prove that he is not a small, wimpy little man. Unfortunately, looking at him on the screen here, I'm not sure he's ever going to be able to do that, but thank you for supporting the channel as always.
I don't know. Months ago, I would have thought it was sincere. But to do it like right after you get a cease and desist, how can I? Like, I'm not even being this to be like snarky. I'm being like, how am I actually supposed to think it's sincere? And to me, that's unacceptable. And it's personal. And I'm just following through on my problem.
Exit. You can't be calling Ethan a pedophile. Legally speaking, it is not a good idea. A comment like, Destiny and Ethan have micropenis syndrome. Fine, that is totally okay. Calling him a pedo might get me in trouble because I have to make sure that people aren't repeating that kind of stuff on my stream. This man is currently suing Idubbbz.
Ethan brings up Reddit and snark constantly over and over, and it's even part of the settlement that eventually is the reason that the whole thing kind of falls apart.
Wait, what
and
does it say?
it's even
The parties agree that they shall not make, publish, or share or republish from other content creators any remarks about each other or their families, directly or indirectly, that are unfair, untrue, defamatory, disparaging, or otherwise derogatory. Without limiting the generality of the foregoing, the defendants agree that they will not participate in the Reddit communities. Holy fuck, Idubbbz was going to have to sign up to having, like, the Reddit police come round and check his Reddit history and be like, Mr. Joma, we've caught you on the H3 leftovers H3 snark. I repeated what 3 times? I repeated people who were saying it. Of course, I am not endorsing that. You're saying that, but I'm just taking that down. Can I say that I personally feel he is creepy? I assume because that's your personal opinion. I don't fucking know. No one should be thinking about this shit as to whether someone commenting about a guy who had a YouTube account called a Reddit account called Pedo Troll, where he made pedo jokes, and someone who's like accused anything and everyone that he can about of just disgusting and unhinged stuff, that, you know, you should all be terrified of him. But unfortunately, I am a small YouTube content creator and I do not want to get fucking sued. So I will err on the side of caution about fucking everything. Okay? Okay, let's carry on with this. Or any other communities that are created for the purpose of criticism or mockery of the plaintiffs. And the plaintiffs agree not to participate in any similar online communities created for the purpose of criticism or mocking of the defendants. The plaintiffs further agree not to make or permit others to make disparaging or defamatory remarks about the defendants on the Reddit community, H3H3 Productions, or any other online community where the plaintiffs hold moderator power. Wow. Wow.
part of the settlement that eventually is the reason that the whole thing kind of falls apart. So, in general, Ethan Klein is suing for $1 million in damages.
Is that the only thing with this is that $1 million US or $1 million Canadian? Because $1 million CAD is quite a lot less than $1 million US, but it's still a fuck ton of money. The kind of money that I don't want to be, the kind of money that I don't want to be dealing with. I would not want to be sued for $1 million. I don't have it. Yeah, I'm a comedian / a political commentator who does jokes on the internet. Throwing a tantrum. I mean, asking for $1 million is crazy. The non-disparagement is also a power tactic. If Ethan breaks the clause, Ian needs to get a lawyer, file the paperwork, poverty shackles. I mean, all of this is just... I have learned way too much about the legal system, and that is learning nothing, and I fucking hate it.
Over this, which is like... The live stream was viewed by a couple hundred people, and Idubbbz was a dragon. Idubbbz is not a successful live streamer. He's not popular right now. So the idea of kind of blaming him for all of this stuff just makes no sense to me. So basically what happens is the lawsuit gets filed and sent, and Ian puts out an apology.
It's very clear that it was never the right thing to do. It was a comment about Ethan and his children, and it was disgusting. I said at the time in the stream that I don't agree with it, but still sharing it and broadcasting it to people for 40 minutes, that was an irresponsible and reckless thing to do.
Ethan writes in the comments of the apology saying that, okay, I'm going to drop.
To be fair, it is crazy that he did drop something here that just said, "Hi Ian, I appreciate the thoughtful apology. It means a lot. I've instructed my attorneys to drop the lawsuit entirely," and he just didn't do it. He didn't do it, and it's just unhinged.
The case. But that isn't exactly what Ethan Klein wanted. From these documents, it was clear that Ethan didn't just want to drop the case, he wanted to get a settlement out of it. And he wanted Idubbbz to have to follow a few key things. And in these documents, we have the settlement that they tried to do. Ethan's and Ian's lawyers are talking, And Ethan's lawyers are like, here are the deeds of the settlement. And Ian's lawyers are like, okay, we can do that. There's an apology in here that we don't really want to have the specifics of, but we do feel like we can do this. So here is it signed. And
I used to think Ethan Klein was mentally unwell, and I'd be frustrated with the fact that he can afford mental health but doesn't get it. Now I just think he's a piece of shit. I mean, the thing is that Ethan Klein is... But you've got to remember as well, this is like, content creation is like a drug in some kind of ways. In the sense of like, you know, you're always chasing the highs of where you once were. And the biggest fear that permeates amongst all content creators is, I love burgers! What happens next? Like, what happens once I'm done, or if this doesn't work out? And increasingly, Ethan's podcast is evidently not working out because whilst it's still doing a decent amount of views, relative to where he once were and relative to the size of his crew and the sponsors he's getting, he's certainly in a bit of trouble. Hey, KLT, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Thank you for supporting the channel. You are the 2nd out of 10 subscribers over on Twitch. We are heading towards that 1,000, and we are going to hit it. We need 50 more members on Twitch and YouTube. We are going to hit that, I swear.
they both agree that it's signed and we're good. But the statement that Ian did wasn't good enough for Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein wanted a condemnation of Snark and the Snark subreddit.
God, by the way, as well, KLT, thank you so much. I do like the Prime subscriptions. Thank you for supporting. I like how Stephen here has to put up, in my opinion, because anyone will tell you if you're making a video about Ethan Klein and you have any sort of platform, you will just have to fucking worry about Ethan potentially suing you.
Now, I have been on the record, and I personally believe, you may disagree, that Ethan and his community use Snark as an excuse to move away from criticism. Like snarking talking points, and this idea that Snark is the end of all evil, and that they attack their kids, and that everything is going on. It's always Snark's fault. So Ethan using Snark as like this cover and putting Ian in that snarking community feels like, to me, it's not in the legal documents, this is just me as a journalist, as a way to kind of legitimize Snark as a concept.
I love burgers! Hey, Bickle, thank you for subscribing. Or Bikey, Bickle, whichever one you fancy. Bick1E, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Thank you for supporting the channel. My goat. And see you later, Timer. Have a nice Sunday, rest of the weekend. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Goated, incredibly kind. What was I going to say? I said something that was in... Oh, the whole Snark thing as well. It has just been a get out of jail free card for Ethan to be like, oh, people criticize me because they're snarkers. Like, look, I've had people who've left my community, and they're more than welcome to talk about how they don't like me, as their prerogative. But I'm often like, damn, if someone's here for a long time and they end up stopping watching because they really start disliking me, it provokes within me a bit of thought about what I'm doing, and my instantaneous reaction isn't, nah, that person might be entirely wrong. It's like, okay, maybe there's something that can be learnt from that. I can change a bit. I can be different. But most of the people who left the H3 community are people who really fucking liked Ethan Klein. Like, a lot of people were not just like little Ethan Klein fans, they were really big Ethan Klein fans. And so in many ways, this snark term and word is just a way for this man to get out of actually, you know, kind of thinking or reflecting on what's actually going on. I'm the main moderator on r/Chris Kunzler Snark. I would actually like a Reddit. I would like a Reddit. If Timer went somewhere and 48 other viewers did, maybe something else is going on. Maybe there's another channel on. I was a huge Ethan Klein fan for a while. Nice. Most people are. That's why it's obvious that he should probably be ruminating and thinking about what he's on. I feel like the Islamo-communist Qatari-funded extremists whose main goal is to destroy the US comment should have gotten much more attention. I knew Ethan was bad, but that was just beyond bad. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's really like attention has somewhat faded from Ethan's sort of insanity. That was probably the most unhinged rant, which is saying something. He came back for a heinous rant. His worst rant yet.
to believe that, yes, snarking is real. Here, Ian's behind it. Ian talked about it.
Snarking Israel? Snarking is real?
In the same way in that Caseytron settlement, they bring up like Hassan and Asmongold, just because like it's a way to kind of legitimize the
God, fucking Asmongold is such a piece of shit. Asmongold is such a fucking... Asmongold is like a little... Like, Asmongold's views are Hitlerian, but Asmongold has never, like, been to war, but he just, like, talks about how he wants to... Or done anything. He doesn't even go to protests. He's just, like, sitting in his room talking about how he wants children to be murdered. And then it's like, yeah, he can have a 2-week ban on Twitch. And it's just mental. It is just mental. And by the way, for all of these things, all of these people, you know, talking about, oh, well, Hassan's affiliated with politicians. JD Vance is associated with Asmongold. So's Elon Musk. And the man is like basically Adolf Hitler.
Talking points against Ethan Klein. It just all kind of feels weird.
The lawsuit was not frivolous. When I said the lawsuit was frivolous and based on misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins. I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism.
This was incredible. I imagine I had when someone sent me that fake Ethan Klein lawsuit. Imagine I'd fallen for it and there was just a video of me talking about the pervasiveness in anti-Semitism in the Hassan Piker community. Would you be shocked to find out H3 doesn't have a problem with Asmongold's perspective of snipe babies? Really? Did he have a problem with it? I'm sure he had a problem with it. I'm sure he did. They're rich, but they let their children roll around in theirs and their pet's toilet, which is in the middle of their mansion, but not laziness. I actually am interested, by the way, in what the hell is going on with his dogs. And also, all of his little podcast co-host dogs. So I grew up with, like, I had 2 dogs growing up. One of them pissed in the house one time because he died of kidney failure, like, pretty rapidly afterwards. And the other dog, in all of the years that we had him, never pissed in the house. Even when he had a brain tumor and was like having seizures and eventually died, never pissed in the house. Why on earth is he constantly talking? He was talking about it the other day. He's like, my dog keeps banging down the door and pissing in my room. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I sometimes think about, like, you know, dogs that like are a bit naughty that I know. They ain't doing shit like pissing in the house. Like, what is that? Why? Why do dogs piss in the house? Be careful who you associate with. Hassan is X, Y, and Z, pretending to care, but all he's doing is... Oh, God. These people view Abdel El Sayed as too fucking radical for them because he spoke to Hassan Piker, and that's the manifestation of their politics. And it's just about having debates and arguments with people on the internet. That was all Israel and Palestine ever was. And these people pretend to be like the thoughtful left. It's like the stuff about like fucking... I can appreciate some people who are like, oh, God, you know, I'm a bit wary of people bigging up the Islamic Republic for all of the things it does to, you know, like it has done and the repression in which it engages in. And if you listen to Iranians, you know, not all of them are full-throated supporters, but fuck me, these people are literally like, yeah, actually Israel, we need to quibble with everything anyone ever says about fucking Israel. And it's just like, oh, shut up.
Them in leftist spaces.
Their dogs must hate them. Yeah, but why? Actually, sorry, I'm still interested. Why are dogs pissing in people's houses? Why? Like, how does that happen? I swear dogs are trained from a very young age not to piss in people's houses.
It should concern all of us. I condemn it and will not participate in it.
So the reason this lawsuit is kind of holding up is that Ian is refusing to condemn snark. In this story in general, you know, all of this could have happened. And as far as I can see, there is no reason Ethan Klein couldn't have just dropped the lawsuit. He could have at any time.
Yeah, but how hard is it to train a dog not to piss in the house? How hard is it to train a dog not to piss in the house? Okay, like, it happens to an old dog, or it happens on occasion. Every pet he ever owns shits and pisses in the house, and he regularly talks about it on his fucking podcast. Like, it's not even some conspiracy theory. There are, like, compilations of this guy just talking about how much they shit and piss in the house. His little dogs.
just said like, okay, we're done. But he wanted a settlement out of it. He wanted something out of doing all of this.
I don't want to sue you, right? I don't want to do all this shit, but at the end of the day, I have made a commitment, and I am the ultimate hater. I look bad.
Nah, because this isn't one dog. It's not one dog. If it was one dog, okay, maybe the stuff you're saying about like, oh, maybe the dog just got anxious, or maybe the dog liked pissing in the house, okay? But these guys are like, every dog they own just shits and pisses, and then AB and Lena, his wife, named after the Dota 2 hero, has to clean up the shit and piss.
And I'm okay with that, because for me, it's personal, and that's it. That's all it is, you know, and it has been since that moment.
I think there's this like whole community of legal tubers who have kind of popped up and love to talk about the law when it, you know, has to deal with YouTubers, and they never like actually.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. When my dog goes inside, I blame myself for not being aware of her needs. And I can get that, and having some reflection. But if it happens with every dog, do you think that these people ever reflect? And they own like 50 dogs or whatever.
They follow through with anything. None of these people found these court documents. It was not hard. And I'm now turning it into a YouTube video because I think it
can't hear video. What? Can't you? Can't you hear the video?
It's important, and like I want to cover YouTube in the way that no one's really doing, like a journalist. A quirky journalist, but a journalist nonetheless. I want to kind of change the field. And I would love if you could like the video and subscribe to my channel.
I will like the video, Stephen. There's a link to the video here. You can check it out if you would like. Yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's it's a great video, great research, fantastical. There's another. Okay, right. We'll watch one video of Ethan talking about fucking anti-Semitism. Hold on.
So when you have 60,000 Moroccans flooding into Spain all at once, in a mass migration spectacle, the question you have to ask yourself immediately is, who really is behind this? The Moroccans? No.
The government?
Which one? Which one, Gabe? That's the question.
The dictator or the
well,
independent?
if you were a real thinker, unfortunately, you would have known the answer. In fact, well, you don't have to think much. It's always Israel. It's Israel, guys. Israel sent 60,000 Moroccan immigrants to flood the borders of Spain. This is Alex Jones talking about it.
I did a report the other day, and then we posted it on X.
Bro, why are you even doing videos, bro? He doesn't have a studio. He's just like in some fucking hotel room. His wife kicked him out. What's up, guys? It's Alex Jones from the Motel 16. Yeah, the Jews sent all the immigrants across the border. It's crazy.
By the way, I do think one of the things that like you might want to recognize about this is the behavior of the Israeli government and people affiliated with it, whose instantaneous reaction to all of this is just to go, yeah, we fucking hate Spain. Look what you get. This is what happens. You must support Israel. And by the way, just their behavior, the American behavior, and why basically America and Israel would actually like this. Now, simultaneously, there's obviously other driving factors, but no doubt it is pretty helpful that okay, if you're looking at reasons why America and Israel might want this, America and Israel want to unsettle Pedro Sanchez in Spain because, you know, he's a center-left government and they want hard-right politicians. Israel does actually have an active strategy of that. And so courting an incident where tens of thousands of Moroccans go over is not implausible, but obviously it isn't even that people are just sent over, by the way. And I think that that's kind of a wrong perspective or a take to have on it, because one of the things about Ceuta is things in Morocco are just shit. Like, I don't know if there's any Moroccans in here, but objectively things in Morocco keep getting worse, okay? So inequality's growing, even though it's quite a rich country in terms of its natural resources. They're actually cracking down on people who protest, especially against normalization with Israel. The country, you know, there are problems there. And so tens of thousands of people fleeing over, seeking a better life and being naturalized by the Spanish is not that unsurprising, or that there would be a driver.
and it got flooded with Israeli bots. And
Sorry about that. The prostitutes next door won't keep it down. They're affecting the audio quality of InfoWars. You can't even call it InfoWars anymore.
Right.
That's Eric Weierheim's show now. Or Tim Heidecker's show.
Influencers saying that I'm insane, I'm totally crazy to talk about Netanyahu. Openly saying last year during Midnight Hammer and this year when Spain wouldn't authorize B-2 bombers flying out of there, that he would work with the Arabs in North Africa, namely Morocco, to take over areas that Spain controls there, has had for hundreds of years, and use that to flood Europe. There's news articles.
Yeah, Israel wants to flood Europe with Arab immigrants. We don't know why. I think supposedly Israel's the ultimate evil. Anything can be attributed to them. Basically, probably just to destabilize the world because Jews just want to destroy the world. And
I love how this guy is so dumb that he can't even understand what he's talking about. Like, Israel obviously is incentivized in creating spectacles like this. And by the way, I'm not even like saying that Israel did this, like as I just explained, but what I'm saying is what the investment of Israel is not just like some lunacy of like, oh my God, Jewish people just do bad things, but rather that like actually Israel is interested in this. He's using Alex Jones to talk about this because Jones is known to push conspiracy theories. He's trying to use him to discredit Israel's role in this. I mean, Israel may not have had any significant role in this. There's no evidence that Israel did have like a majorly significant role in this. Actually, wait, we can talk about that a little bit afterwards, actually. There was someone on Breaking Points talking about this. Let me see if I can find it. Breaking Points Ceuta.
A statement.
Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Well, let's throw this on now. But no, just don't discredit the issues that Morocco's actually facing, basically, and why people might want to flee.
All right, guys, there was a wild situation unfolding in Ceuta, Spain, a place that I did not know exist, but am now learning a lot about. So this is across from the Spanish mainland, right next to Morocco and on.
God, this is how I'm gonna start setting up my streams. Iran, military, Max Miller, Spain, and then gambling, and then AMA Live. The AMA Live I won't do, but gambling. Guys, I need $50,000 to bet on some gambling app. I need $50,000 now. 65 watch stream. My go. Morocco and Israel are longtime allies. Yes, they are. They certainly are.
The Strait of Gibraltar. What you see here is tens of thousands of migrants who suddenly surge to and over the border into this Spanish territory. There were images that immediately seemed to suggest this was some sort of an organized movement, not only because the flood of people who suddenly emerged, but also because you saw them arriving.
By the way, Isaac and I talked about this at the end of the Patreon podcast, if any of you are interested. We talked about Ceuta. So people do this, by the way. Haftar in Libya's done it. People have weaponized them. Spain did it. Morocco did it to Spain before in 2021. So it's not really that outrageous that Morocco may have intentionally allowed this to happen. But also, by the way, people do want to leave Morocco and go to places with more economic hope, and Spain has just naturalized. I think it's potentially they're going to naturalize up to 900,000 migrants.
On trucks and being unloaded near the border. We now have a lot of testimony from some of the migrants, most of whom have now returned to Morocco, but some of the migrants who were part of this wave saying that they were encouraged by the Moroccan authorities there at the border, saying also that there were a lot of Facebook posts saying, hey, the Spanish border is open. You can see here people who are struggling, collapsing on the beach there. There were migrants who were killed and injured as part of whatever this was. And so now to talk about what exactly happened here and why there are suspicions.
By the way, it is just incredible that you just watched a video of the compassionate thinking man's leftist, Ethan Klein, calling this a medieval invasion. 70 people died. These were people just going from Morocco to seek what they thought would bring about a better life in Europe.
That the US and Israel could have been involved in what would be a sort of hybrid war operation is Juan David Rojas. He is a columnist at Unheard. He has a new article up. We can put D2 up on the screen. And his headline here is, did MAGA create the Ceuta crisis? Morocco is cozying up to Trump. Welcome, Juan. Great to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So just start by giving a little, first of all, correct anything that I said that might have been wrong. Give a little bit of backstory here about what this place is, what happened, and why it has so much significance.
Yeah, so around 60,000 migrants over, I think it was on Friday or Thursday, crossed over into the Spanish territory called Ceuta.
What do you mean identity? What is that? Identity Europa? What is it? Europa? I don't know much about that. No, Spain's naturalizing a huge amount of migrants because they need them for their economy. The Spanish economy, by the way, is booming fantastically. So that's why they're doing it. They're not doing it because they care about migrants or anything. They're literally just doing it because it booms.
And so Spain actually has these two enclaves across the Strait of Gibraltar on the coast with Morocco, Ceuta and Melilla. They're just these like two cities completely surrounded by Morocco. And they've actually controlled them since the 1400s.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's been a point of contention between Spain and Morocco. Morocco says that it should be theirs on account of, you know, their geographical location. But, you know, this area of the world is really interesting if you're into, like, decolonial.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I guess it's also, the thing is this is the confusing, ambiguous thing about, is that Spain, or, sorry, is that Europe, or is that North Africa? Because, of course, it's North Africa, but also, for some reason, it's Spain? And I know the historical context, okay? But what I'm saying is there's a certain ambiguity about all of it, of like, you know, you can swim a small distance and then you can be in a place where you're more likely to have a considerable amount of opportunities.
Stuff, because you have Gibraltar itself, which is, you know, controlled by the UK, which Spain says should be theirs. And then on the other hand...
Exactly. The government is legalizing people who are already here, and most of them have jobs. This allows them to pay social security and other taxes. 100%. It's just a pragmatism about the fact that Europe needs migration in its current form. And, you know, it's like a prerequisite of the modern capitalist society that we're living in. But... because then they're like, you know, social democrats. That's why they're doing it. They're just being slightly more pragmatic than... slightly more pragmatic than other European countries that pretend we need to get rid of and harm every migrant ever.
Morocco claims all of what's called Western Sahara further south, which used to be a Spanish territory as well. Spain handed control over to it in Morocco, and there's been an insurgency there because the Sahrawis, the native people of Western Sahara, don't want to be part of Morocco, and this is a horrific... It's kind of like a Palestine situation. They built like a wall to keep out like the separatists and have like exchange fire with these insurgents for a long time. And actually for decades, Morocco has used these two cities, Ceuta and Melilla, in order to get at Spain and also at Algeria for like supporting these Sahrawi separatists. And so
one of the big paradoxes of the AI boom is that it's causing mass unemployment, yet there's still a need for migrant labor to keep European countries functioning. I thought AI is supposed to replace all jobs. That's the thing. Who fucking knows? They don't fully know what's going to happen. It will fundamentally, quite possibly, alter how society operates in terms of labor, but they don't know what's happening. And it is just, by the way, it is just crazy that this is all being done by fucking idiots privately, and these models just, like, teach themselves. It is crazy. I have been enjoying Chatham House. I don't think Chatham House, like, I really align with everything they're saying or think about, but they do occasionally release good pieces on certain things. I kind of like their podcast. I can't remember what it's called. With Bronwyn Maddox, who runs Chatham House. Bronwyn Maddox. I can't remember what it's called, but their one about the AI thing was really interesting.
a lot of analysts have thought that because Spain had been like forging closer relations with Algeria, which allegedly provides support to the Sahrawis, Morocco just decided, hey, you know what, we're just going to screw Spain like this. Now, going a step further, Morocco doesn't need doesn't really take orders from anyone. They're the king there. They have their own like internal politics and whatnot. But I definitely think they feel emboldened because in recent years, Morocco has really forged close ties with Israel and the U.S. In 2020,
This is kind of an articulation of sort of what I was trying to get at, which is like, yeah, I think that Morocco probably is emboldened by having, fucking Israel and America telling them do what you want. And especially Trump too, as just as I mentioned the other day, had this feature of if you have a claim to some land and you're like an authoritarian, or not even an authoritarian, just someone who completely backs you, someone who completely backs you, or completely backs Trump, then they'll let you do whatever, They'll let you do absolutely whatever. Millet is potentially being allowed to take the Falklands because England has not been as supportive. Morocco will potentially be allowed to take, Ceuta and Melilla, not because Trump gives a shit about the history and them being colonial possessions, but because Morocco is good friends with him and Israel.
Under Trump's first administration, the Abraham Accords, Morocco was a signatory, and in exchange, the Trump administration recognized Morocco's control over Western Sahara. Then, in more recent years, like
I'll check out Ed Zitron.
Trump administration hosted these like covert talks with like Morocco and other countries over like the.
Damn, there's 180 of you over on Twitch right now. It's fucking crazy. If you're interested, throw a Prime my way if you got one, or become a subscriber over there. It's always greatly appreciated. These numbers are straight up from Trump's Custom and Border website and do not justify sending in ICE to American cities. Turns out it's really lucrative to villainize and demonize immigrants. Yeah, I was reading about Libya and how in Libya they just have they just have like migrant detention torture centers.
Western Sahara issue. But the interesting thing is, like, if you look at MAGA, all of a sudden they care a lot about these two cities, Ceuta and Melilla. Why is that? Like in March, Representative Diaz-Balart from here in South Florida, he said that Ceuta and Melilla should belong to Morocco and that Spain is a colonial power, which is crazy. He's basically like intoning Fidel Castro, I argued in the piece.
Yeah.
So it's nuts. Thomas Massey pointed out that last week the House passed a bill that would have given like $40 million to Morocco.
The committee notes the historic alliance between the US and Morocco as formalized in 1786 by the Moroccan-American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. The committee notes that the Spanish-administered cities of Ceuta and Melilla are located in Moroccan territory and remained the subject of Moroccans' long-standing claims. Crazy.
And in the bill, it recognizes Ceuta and Melilla as part of Morocco. So this is crazy stuff. Days before this also, Morocco named its highway that goes through Western Sahara after Donald Trump, and Trump has a Truth Social post where he says, "Thank you to the great king of Morocco. I hope to one day ride through this amazing, beautiful highway."
And then the question kind of is like, why now? And so I know there's been a lot of speculation, especially around.
Am I keeping cool? I'm drinking water and I've got my fan on and my window open. So yeah. I've got my France fan on. Do you get it? Like the guy who did the books about colonialism.
Around Morocco and Israel's relationship. For example, we have D4, we can put here on the screen, an extraordinary statement from Yair Netanyahu. He is the son of Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel. He said in 2019, May 26, "Let's make a deal. We won't fund NGOs in your country calling you to give away Ceuta and Melilla, and you will stop funding NGOs in our country that calls us to give away Judea and Samaria." This is part of, obviously, the West Bank and Gaza in their parlance. This included, actually...
God, I fucking hate little Netanyahu, little prick.
a thread in a map that Yair posted, including direct threats by Morocco to take over Ceuta and Melilla. So the Israel connection here, somewhat interesting. This was one of many posts, including by Itamar Ben-Gvir, the Israeli Foreign Ministry, and others, attacking Spain after this migration wave. What is the connection there? Is it because of Spain's opposition to Israel and its conduct in Gaza?
Exactly. Yeah, that was the last piece. So Spain, under Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, has been really critical both of the war in Gaza and now the Iran war, and even went as far as to not allow the U.S. to dock its planes, and that we have 2 bases inside of Spain. This is a huge deal. The Rota, and I forget the name of the other one. And so MAGA has branded Spain like public enemy #1. And there's also the factor that they refuse to keep up with their defense spending commitments under NATO. But yeah, the Israelis also, they.
Are you enjoying the pronunciations? I'll get even wackier with it if you start complaining about them more.
They've been saying these kinds of things for years just to get back at Spain, because Sanchez has been in power since 2018. I believe. So yeah, I definitely don't think it's a coincidence. Yeah, I mean, I saw on like Newsmax, they were saying, oh, the Spanish, look at this, it's because they're opposed to like Western civilization. Well, I mean, it looks like you guys are kind of opposed to Western civilization right now.
Right.
Let's go ahead and play to your point about the right-wing interest here in Spain. Trump recently said sort of issued a threat, said that the Spanish are not, quote, behaving nicely, but they will learn. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
The Spanish, they're members of NATO, but not very good members of NATO. They say, no, we don't want to help other people. What are we doing, huh?
I don't know what the fucking... I don't know what they're fucking doing, the French. I have no idea. And yeah, 36 degrees in London. You can enjoy that. I'm glad I don't have to travel anywhere in London.
Yeah, they are not behaving nicely, but they will learn. Soon after they relinquish their grip on Cuba and Guam, the Philippines and Puerto Rico, and they were all ours. We got them all.
So interesting comments there from Trump.
Nah, when it comes to the social media posts, I'm pretty sure they were just Moroccans posting about like, yeah, there's a chance to get over to Ceuta right now. Go and try it. And people did try it, because you cannot discount. People do just want better lives, you know, and a chance at a better life, a risk of it, even with the chance of death.
Also reminded one of a couple of other historical events here. One is my friend Yegor said that in Belarus, Lukashenko did something very similar, bringing in migrants, mostly Iraqi Kurdish migrants, and using them and encouraging them, actually bringing them in on these like cheap flights and cheap tours, supposedly of Belarus, and then encouraging them to flood over the border into Poland to sort of punish them for some things that they had done, sanctioning him and calling his election into question. It also, of course, reminds very much of the Texas strategy of busing migrants into blue cities, into New York City, into Chicago, using people as pawns to make this sort of political point and create difficult political situations for leaders that they're at odds with.
I don't think it's also just about creating a difficult situation for Sanchez. It's about trying to displace him with a right winger, basically, by creating mass pressure on him, being like, look what happens, there's a migrant invasion. Like, look at how even someone like Ethan Klein talks about it, and all of the way that people talk about it has just been disgusting. These are just people hoping for a better life, and people are calling it like an invasion. It's fucking insane.
So it's not like this would be a new tactic if it is, in fact, you know, the U.S. and Israel that are encouraging this to go forward.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Another good example is Turkey, which has long used migration in order to like extort the EU for concessions. I mean, and that's just what Morocco has done for forever. And you pointed out to me that apparently they found like Moroccan intelligence agents among the migrants that crossed over into Ceuta. And you think about it, unfortunately, I'm going to be real, this is, I think it's a confluence of things, but it's a savvy political move, depending on whether it's Morocco, Israel, and or the U.S. Staging this, because Sanchez is now put in this really difficult position. In January, he actually passed.
So what exactly was the better plan to attain a better life? By entering Europe? It's pretty evident. By entering a European country, by going into Ceuta.
This insane amnesty for basically everyone who was in Spain or who had come to Spain irregularly. Which, me personally, I'll say I think it's great for the migrants, and it's great to not have this underclass of, illegal workers. But on the other hand, I mean, the problem with these kinds of amnesties, it's true, if you don't have overwhelming enforcement on new arrivals, amnesties just create a further incentive for more illegal immigration. And so,
but people are already illegally immigrating to the country. I feel like this is a pretty dumb thing. And that's only going to keep on increasing. And by the way, there's also the thing of like, this is because they need it. These European countries need an underclass of workers. Why do you think that it keeps flowing? As I mentioned before, there are major questions about what Keir Starmer's basically doing in terms of, managing to reduce immigration and whether that's actually a good thing.
Sanchez now has to decide, it's like, oh, do I clamp down or do I just kind of do nothing? And Sanchez has done a number of good things. His stance against the U.S. and Israel, and also raising the minimum wage a ton, is extremely popular. What's not popular? The amnesty he did, which has like a 60% disapproval rating.
Wow.
So it's extremely rough. It seems like I gave the advice that he should, the correct posture, I think, for leftists is to say, look, migrants are human beings. They should not be abused, but they also can't abuse the system. And we need to have, have territorial integrity. And he, to his credit, said that, this incident was a gross violation of Spain's sovereignty. And a majority of those that went into the city have already been expelled. So, we'll see in the long term what the electoral consequences are.
It's great. This guy's a bit of a prick. We'll go back to Ethan Klein telling this is about a story. And yeah, my major concern is, of course, the abuse of the migrants abusing the system as opposed to a system abusing them.
Basically, it's great. It's literally like exactly Nazi anti-Jew propaganda that you would hear during the Second World War, leading up to it, right?
Yeah.
There's one tweet. This whole thing, by the way, conspiracy is one tweet Netanyahu made like 6 years ago that was retweeted by Candace Owens recently after this happened. So she put forward this theory based on one Netanyahu tweet from like 6 years ago. And everyone's like, yeah, it's Israel. There's no question about it, folks. Israel wants to destabilize Europe so that they can take over Europe. They want to colonize all of Europe.
By the way, Israel, this is not, you don't even have to make stuff up. Israel is straight up trying to take over Europe by backing far-right parties who entirely align with it, and will withdraw from the International Criminal Court and help to prevent any pressure going onto them. Like,
That's right. Jews are taking over, folks.
Their statements, their speeches of him. I played clips on the show, and they said I was making it up. So I guess Israel.
Also, by the way, in the Second World War, okay, during the Second World War, they were not talking about Jewish people who owned a state that engaged in geopolitics. Like, granted, some of these people are crazy conspiracy theorists, Candace Owens and, Alex Jones. But simultaneously, there's a fundamental difference. Those were just like Jewish people being persecuted solely for being Jewish. Like now, people say things about a state that is incredibly powerful and has, played a large role in influencing the United States, the most powerful country in the world, into going to war not even long ago. So I think this thing of just being like, oh my God, it's like the Second World War, it's fundamentally different.
Drag us into this war. I guess Israel isn't primarying our leaders that are against the war. I guess Israel isn't bragging about APAC.
I'll just tell you that immigrants are the best thing about Texas. They brought us culture, they brought us food, and brought hard work ethic not happening otherwise, and our economy crashes without them. That's 100% the thing as well. Like, the economy is so reliant on immigration, and especially in America with, like, the sort of things like the construction industry over there. But, like, these people just want to have conversations about how evil they are rather than, I don't know, climate change or other important things. And that is, by the way, I don't think that that's a foolish point to make in terms of the economy crashes without slave labor. It sucks. It sucks in terms of the way that immigrants are treated. But in current political discourse of how people actually talk about the system and how people talk about politics, it is just about demonizing immigrants and never the centralized thing of like, yep, they are entirely necessary for the way that we exist currently. And if you want that to change, it's to talk about abandoning capitalism and trying to make life better for people in the places that they're from, rather than continually destabilizing them. Like Sudan. Sudan used to have an amazing, an amazing education system, particularly around healthcare. And a lot of people from, Africa, Southwest Asia would go to Sudan to study medicine. What do you think's happening in Sudan now? The thing, though, Chris, is that the West will never be able to reduce immigration as long as they screw over the global South. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. There will always be migration from Latin America, West Asia, and Africa as long as the CIA and US Army and also Israel keep meddling in these countries. 100%. I guess I just reiterated that before I read your point. And I appreciate what you're saying, that, migrants are human beings who just seek who just want to live their lives.
Controlling Congress. I guess Israel isn't proud to merge our military in the Defense Authorization Act of 2027. No, it's all happening. You guys keep lying.
He's just saying shit.
And yeah, it's also, by the way, it's massively because of aging white populations in Europe that are not having kids, Would you go on GB News to debate based and bougie? No. Without immigration, Texas would still... Did you just intentionally send that together? Or was that a mistake? That is a crazy coincidence.
The defense contract 1997 obviously proved that the Jews were underground with the Rothschilds, and they were collaborating with France to bring about the Moroccan invasion of Spain. It's clear as day, folks. Infowars.com. When you're done reading about that, just pick up my slot bucket there. Laced with carcinogenic isotopes, radioactive, glows in the dark. Makes your shit glow in the dark, folks. It's great for emergency situations. It's made with rat shit and sawdust. Infowars.com.
The candy's the
but like where this
author of this whole insane conspiracy. Did you know this? Oh no, here we go. Now it's not enough. Did you know the Star of David is an occult Baal symbol? It's a demonic symbol now.
What?
She talked about the pentagram? That's different. Used to be on the flag of Morocco. Oh! Oh! Before modern Israel existed. May want to look into that one, folks.
Oh my God.
We discussed this in my Becoming Bridget series.
That is a good place for learning of what is happening in the world. The Becoming Brigitte. It's not Bridget, it's Brigitte, isn't it? That is just like an incredible place to be learning of the world.
Pedophiles would regularly go to Morocco with the express purpose of raping Muslim boys. Occult worshippers always harm children. Spain, stay strong. The world knows what is happening and exactly who is behind it.
Oh my God.
So wait, this is going somewhere really interesting, I promise. Some people are claiming the Moroccan...
By the way, the funny thing though is like, you can kind of see how Israel melts the mind of people like Candace, because why would you not mention America in this, in the administration that you were backing whilst it did all of this stuff? Like, you backed Trump to the hilt back then when Trump was getting involved in this shit.
Government's openly cooperating with Israel, blah, 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 yada, yada. So Candace Owens is obviously on some crazy shit, and now it's being trickled down to Alex Jones. And wait till you see where this ends.
That's why Israel's losing the information war. It's the most unpopular country in the world right now. I didn't want to get up this morning and attack Israel. It was my listeners pointing out...
I didn't want to get up and attack Israel, folks. Infowars.com.
Okay, I've had enough of this. That's enough, Ethan Klein. Well, Candace is a CIA asset. I don't know shit about that. I don't know shit. She's doing work. The CIA don't let you do work like uncovering what's actually happening to... Charlie Kirk. The CIA covered that up. Okay, right. So let's cover a little bit. I know that you all don't love him, but oh well. It's still an interesting topic. Let's have a chat about the world's favorite monster, Mr. Asmongold. The golem that is Asmongold. Actually, he's not even a golem. Golems are like big and strong, the iron golem from Minecraft. It's very troubling, the iron golem from Minecraft. Like, that shit's bashing you up. Asmongold could not do anything. He's not even like a skeleton, because he couldn't have the strength to use the bow and arrow.
Always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people, they have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop.
This guy is like Hitler. In fact, he's like Goebbels if Goebbels was allowed Twitch. One day they'll bring this guy into the actual into an actual Republican administration as a commentator. It'll probably happen under this idiot fucking JD Vance will bring him in, but it's just, oh god, just hearing this man talk is just disgusting.
Coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals.
I don't know, Goebbels was a pretty decrepit-looking individual as well. If you look at a photo of Goebbels, do you think if Goebbels grew out his hair, maybe he could look a bit like... Oh, I've accidentally saved a WebP file. God, this photo of Goebbels is... Photos of Goebbels are strange. It's photos of Nazi leaders are all strange. Goebbels review, the man behind the Nazi myth revealed. Look at him in his little chair. He had like feet issues, didn't he? Miller is a shaved-headed Goebbels, yeah.
It's just the way it is. They're savages. Absolute fucking savages. Hamas tactics, terrorists. Of course you don't want...
I like him just saying buzzwords. Hamas tactics, savages, terrorists. Really good to hear from this man.
Want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it.
Yeah, it is kind of incredible how, didn't they get a month ban for the Sabra hummus tier list thing? But this guy who openly talked about his desire to genocide Palestinians and how that's a good and positive thing, and he's openly talking here about his desire for women and children to be shot because they're backwards savages, is worthy of a 2-week ban or potentially just a week.
But you have to do what you need to do in order to enforce your borders, man. Like, that's the way it is. People are too emotional to see that. Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, it's... You can't make decisions that way. And I understand the way that I talk about this might be a little bit extreme. It might be a little bit, unemotional. I wish we had more people like me. I do. I wish we had more, because we got too many pussies that are too worried about the optics of something rather than the reality of it.
At a certain point, I wonder if these people ever reflect that they are just like Nazis in the sense of like, the ends justifying the means. Most people don't have the stomachs for it. This is the kind of stuff that the Nazis would talk about when they were killing Jewish people. They were like, it had to fucking happen because if it didn't, they would have inflicted such evil on the world. But yeah, he's doubled down on this, by the way, and he won't even get banned.
There are definitely criticisms.
He also started pretending that he's having a health scare to make out as to, yeah, I think Asmongold should be forced to sign up for the military.
People have of me that are valid, where like I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc.
Like if I said this shit about Israeli settlers of just like, yeah, they all, kill them. Like if I said that kind of shit, I know I'd be straight for a ban. I know I would, and that's the fucking thing, and my ban would probably be forever and from every platform.
But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people at the same time. That's an incredibly dangerous thing for all of the people that live in that country, and I don't think that a government has an obligation to allow a bunch of invaders to pour over and potentially kill their own citizens. I find this to just be horrible, and ultimately it should be stopped. I think that I really do have the most moral and ethical position on this, because the moment that you create an incentive, you also drive a behavior. And in my opinion, if you don't capitulate to this emotional blackmail, you also don't allow yourself, you don't allow these people to target and victimize these children by using them as baggage and effectively shock troopers in order to
I think this man should rot in fucking jail for the rest of his fucking life just for the disgusting things that he has said about other human beings on the internet and his desires of things that he wants to be inflicted upon them. Just his straight up incitement to murder, telling, you know, thousands of weirdos that there are inhuman savages around who wish to just harm you. It's just fucking insane.
Accomplish a goal. I don't think that I said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me, and I think...
Oh, but this ends justifying the means and thinking that you have a right to do this kind of stuff. Realize where this ends and what this fucking is. Like, I'm sorry, it is pretty evident that these are human beings, that these are people in search of a better life, who are persecuted in a country which your dumbass dictatorship, not a dictatorship, backs because it does what they want. And you sit there and you also advocate and, like, love the Iranian Revolution. There's no moral consistency in what you say, because also you would justify, or you should logically be justifying, the Iranians gunning down any amount of people. If they gun down 90,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 people, surely you would support it because those people were evil terrorist invaders who sought to destabilize the poor country of Iran. But of course there's no moral consistency because no one actually believes this kind of shit. He literally just views immigrants and non-white people as fucking subhumans. But of course you are allowed to do that on social media. Isn't gun death one of the number one causes in the US? Should we allow Americans anywhere? Good point.
I think that the way that we've taken military action in the past, things like, for example, World War II, would indicate that actually this is not as much an objective reality that some people would make it out to be. And again, these...
What is he talking about? World War II? Sorry, I want to rewind that and hear what he...
This is not as much an military action in the past. I don't... in order to accomplish a goal. I don't think that I said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me, and I think that the way that we've taken military action in the past, things like, for example, World War II, would indicate...
In World War II, by the way, they would have been fighting against people like you, Asmon. You would have been welcomed as a propagandist of the Nazi state. You know, 100%. Your rhetoric aligns entirely with them. You know, you are literally just talking about people in the same way that Nazis do.
That actually this is not as much an objective reality that some people would make it out to be. And again, these are the same people that have no problem using children as props and having them, you know, like groomed by adults, you know, about their gender, taking them to ICE protests, putting them directly in danger because there are rioters and criminals and violence there. Who would ever bring a kid there? And these are the same people that are saying that I'm wrong for saying that creating an incentive for people to human traffic children and use them as human shields is a bad thing. And so I apologize for absolutely nothing. I said it in a very abrasive way, and I'm going to continue communicating that way. It's how I was raised. That's the way I communicate, and that's the way I think. And I'm not sorry. And I understand that sometimes I use abrasive language. Sometimes I communicate in a way.
He called for killing children. He called for killing children.
That's a little bit, you know, harsh. And, you know, people can say I'm mean, they can say I'm evil, they can say everything, but they're not saying I'm wrong. And I think that ultimately...
I am 100% saying that you are wrong. It's fucking disgusting. And there are many people what are saying this. He cares about the poor trafficked children so much that he wants to kill them. Yeah. He's the one who really cares about poor trafficked children and children being taught radical gender ideology.
Mm-hmm. We should look at a lot of these uncomfortable truths with a lot more of a clear mind, rather than allowing it to be polluted by people that I...
What percentage of invaders is okay to these people? Who is an invader? what is the concept of an invader, okay? And what percentage of non-white people are you allowed in your societies? Because what do you think that the Nazis said Jewish people were? Like, what do you think that they thought about them and claimed about them and said about them and felt about them and told people about them and propagandized against them about? What do you think that they actually were talking about?
I think want to hurt us, people that want to put us in a position that is not advantageous. And that's the reason why I communicate the way that I do. It is hopefully to normalize this type of language and for people to see things for what they are rather than what they want them to be. And I think that's for better and for worse.
I will say, Asmongold is doing fantastic work to normalize the language of talking about killing children and talking about innocent people being savages.
That's the reason why I talk the way that I do. I'm not sorry. It's probably not going to have to. It's probably not going to stop. I might try to. I'm going to try to obviously tone it down a little bit because I don't want to get suspended all the time, right? Contrary to popular belief, it's great to have a vacation, but I don't want to have them all the time. That's the way that I feel. That's my reasoning for it. I view it as a trolley problem, and I think it enables human trafficking the moment that you capitulate to that type of emotional blackmail.
I'm so concerned about human trafficking that I want to make there be no safe migration routes. Well, what are you talking about? What on earth? What on earth? Genuinely, what on earth is this man talking about? He doesn't want to lose too much money. But it is incredible. I do find the concept of really big streamers quite strange in the sense of, like, I'm a small streamer. And I get why people, even slightly bigger ones, like quite a lot bigger than me, who want to support it. But someone like this, who makes millions and makes more than enough simply from ad revenue to be like a multi-millionaire, why people are like, yeah, I want to subscribe to that, when it doesn't give you any benefit. It's just like supporting this racist degenerate is genuinely beyond me. This guy doesn't even spend any of his money or anything. He just hoards wealth. Didn't this guy kill his mum with BO? I've never heard that, but I don't think that's true. These people are so litigious that I'm not even interested. By attacking low-hanging fruit to gain support of the masses. Having to consolidate your self-worth. Well, his only source of self-worth is by pointing to others as being savage and invaders who do monstrous things whilst he worships the torture state of Israel. I would pull the lever if he was on the other track. I mean, that's your prerogative. In your trolley problem, it's a hypothetical. Sensationalism brings clicks. I know, I'm well aware of it. If I started talking about, like, certain other things about Israel, I'm sure that I could garner way more of an audience, but I can't be asked, and I don't feel that that's what I believe about Israel. But these people don't have real beliefs. They don't have real convictions or beliefs. They don't care about politics or being curious about the things they're saying. They just say firebrand shit to just gain more and more followers and get more and more viral videos and get more and more adulation from some of the biggest fucking degenerates in American politics. He will say whatever negative opinion like a 14-year-old edgelord. Is that not the world in which you want to live? Is that not what you think intellectual curiosity should extend to? Just saying heinous stuff. There was a funny tweet, by the way, in response to the shit he was saying, which I'll show for a second. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Give me 1 second, guys.
Fortunately, something that has nothing to do with Twitch at all actually took precedence over this, and that's why I haven't really made any comments or said anything on anywhere about any of this. I got suspended for 2 weeks. I'll probably try to appeal it, see if I can get it down to a week. We don't really know. If not, maybe I'll stream on Kick or something. Maybe I'll just take a vacation. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided yet. So about 3 or 4 days ago, because the day that I got suspended, I actually didn't even go live. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the day before that, I had a a health symptom that was identical to my dad's health symptom before he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I got really upset. I was freaking out. I'm fucking petrified. I am like panicked. I'm looking things up online. I'm messaging people. I eventually go.
I had a health scare. Yeah, we don't care about sympathy bait when you don't provide the same sympathy to those more at risk than you. This guy believes in killing children, but he wants you to have sympathy because he might have had pancreatic cancer. Jesus fucking Christ. Just genuinely just one of the worst people on the internet. One of the worst people in the world. Just a repugnant individual. I had a health scare that was probably due to the filth I live in. I mean, he'll atrophy away like Ethan Klein and stuff, you know. He'll be living in one day when the world goes to shit. Asmongold and like clones of him will just be roaming around in loincloths, carrying small daggers, harrying you on your way as you try and fight another boss. The man is repugnant and disgusting. And just having worldviews like that. I'm sorry, like, I've just seen some tweet from fucking Elon Musk talking about how Adolf Hitler was right-wing. Go read up what Adolf Hitler said and go listen to what a right-wing influencer like Asmongold says. They read exactly the same because the only difference is they don't talk shit about, they talk shit about Jewish people. You're in all chat, not top chat. I am. I'd be sorry for the cancer having to be in that body, but cancer owes humanity. I know. I hope his medical bills are astronomical, so we can call him a communist for whining about the cost of healthcare. It's outrageous that he can still make content, because the truth is if you don't say mean things about Jewish people, and some of those things should get you in trouble. By the way, some of those things should get you in trouble, like you know. If you're being like insanely fucking anti-Semitic and spreading conspiracy theories, sure, those people should be held accountable for what they're saying. But like, the truth is if you don't say mean things about Jewish people on the internet, you can pretty much get away with anything these days. Like, it's pretty hard to get banned. Maybe if you take it too far, specifically about black people or women, maybe. But even then, look at the Tates. Look at what they were up to for the longest time. You can get away with pretty much anything on the internet. The Tates were, you know, human traffickers. I'm sure Asmongold will have backed Andrew Tate as well. Here's a video on Asmongold's channel called Andrew Tate Destroys Feminist, which I'm sure is...
I don't think it's different at all, because...
Which is fantastic, I'm sure. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, Lemon Mint Cat, thanks for the $2. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, my goat. People are sick and dying in ICE concentration camps. Yeah, but what you don't understand is we need to worry about Asmongold. You seem to have as much hate for Ethan Klein as for Asmongold. Yeah, they both make repugnant comments about people. What of it? In fact, that's not even fucking true. Because I don't really call for Ethan to be banned for his plethora of disgusting statements. Because he doesn't take it as fucking far as Asmongold does. I find Ethan Klein's views particularly reprehensible. But Ethan Klein is not over... Like, Ethan Klein makes tacit justifications of Israel's crimes. And sometimes just overt justifications, which should hold him to account. But... Asmongold is out here talking about the killing of children, mate, and I'm talking about him being banned. I find Ethan Klein particularly annoying as well because he pretends to be a leftist, which is really just wind-up bait. But fucking this Asmongold fucker, I think anyone can tell that my feelings towards him are pretty fucking strong, but, you know, if you want to feel that way, whatever. They're both pretty heinous, yeah, laughing my ass off, and shockingly even Asmond, I don't think had a Reddit expose where he's LARPing as a kiddie diddler. No, he probably, I don't think Asmongold has had that. But by the way, it is fucking crazy that you can just find videos on Mr. Concerned about human trafficking posting about how Andrew Tate is destroying a feminist when Andrew Tate like openly had videos about how to do sex trafficking online. But no, they're the ones who are really concerned about what's happening to women and children. He cares deeply about the Pakistani grooming gangs, just like Tommy Robinson did. But, you know, they're pally-pally with Andrew Tate in the case of Tommy Robinson, or make videos of him destroy, or make videos lauding him for destroying feminists, which is just like, the guy is just a disgusting sex trafficker. And, you know, it's just, yeah, I don't know, with liberal Nazis. That was just the woke mob. Asmon doesn't, but most of his friends are sex offenders. Yeah, has he ever made a video condemning his friend Tectone? You know? He's so concerned. And by the way, you mentioned ICE detention camps. Go and look up statistics of how many people in there are the evil, savage invaders who've come to harm people. Just go have a look up about that. Just go have a look up about that. Just have a check about that. Because, it's not many. It's not many who've engaged in sexual violence or even violence. Many of the people there just have, like, nothing. They have, like, nothing or tiny ones. But, Chris, if we ignore all of the crimes committed by white people, then 100% of crimes are committed by people of color. It's science. That is true. No, you don't get it. It's okay to traffic people if you are not brown. But Andrew Tate is brown, so that's not even a good excuse. Andrew Tate is, they call me Mr. Plenty. But, yeah. You know. I'm stretching. I'm not in pain. Don't change the chat if you see me. We're cool. It's just the way I manage, if not personal. It's not personal. Okay. People call Brad Lander a liberal Zionist, but he has more blood on his hands than most regular Zionists. I don't know. The only thing I think about that is if you are older, you just have objectively the most blood on your hands, most likely. Some of them aren't Zionists now, but if you supported the Iraq War, but I know what you're getting at. I appreciate it. Liberal Zionist is an important distinction because it does speak to something different in the sense of, like, you know, overt supporters of Israel's more right-wing politics versus people who seek to normalize Israel as sort of this, you know, moral state. Chris, would you go on? No. I will tell you what I always get messaged about. Have any of you ever seen that fucking Channel 4 show that's about two people who get chained together with opposing views, and it's like, oh, we're trying to overcome really tough differences between people? There is a guy who has messaged me at least 2 times about how I should go on that show where you get chained to someone who's a Zionist, and it's just like, why would I do that? Like, debating a Zionist is just enough. Imagine if I had to spend a huge amount of time chained to like Maddie or some other just repugnant Zionist creeper. Liberal Zionist reminds me of the liberal that Malcolm X warned about. Yeah, I think it does. They also pay you 50 grand if you achieve it, which would be a certain boon to the channel, but I could use it to pay Isaac off and make him leave the podcast, buy him out of the podcast so he can stop with his horrible behavior towards me.
Up a little bit too much and
okay, right, something else important has just happened. It's just hit the timeline. So Democrats for Mike Rogers are saying, you killed the moderate, now you get the radical. So I assume this is Mike Rogers, and this is obviously Haley Stevens. Someone has just posted this, which is, you killed the moderate, now you get the radical. And the moderate it appears to be Bashar al-Assad, this is Bashar al-Assad, if you don't know, the former deposed dictator of Syria. Well, the deposed dictator, deposed former doesn't make sense. And this is Ahmed al-Shara, but yes, this is Bashar al-Assad. If you're not familiar, that's not Charlie Kirk. That's Bashar al-Assad, former dictator of Syria. That is not Charlie Kirk. That is not at all Charlie Kirk. That's Charlie Kirk, not Assad. No, it's not. What are you fucking talking about? I'm actually starting to detect some serious fucking anti-Semitism here, that you think everything is a conspiracy theory by Israel to put Charlie Kirk's face on stuff. That is literally just what Bashar al-Assad looked like. I swear. That's my ophthalmologist. Oh my freaking god, it could well be. I wonder how many images there are of Bashar al-Assad's face with Charlie Kirk generated on. One has to wonder. Bro, it's uncanny. Well, I mean, yes, it's the leader. It's not Charlie Kirk. We are Charlie Kirk. That is true. Imagine this man ruling over you and killing you. It wouldn't be the best feeling. Have we gone through the new Saudi defense pact? Nah, let's do that now. This is how committed I am to a Sunday stream, feeling sickly. I'm talking about a fucking defense pact. Okay, right, let's talk about this. Frank Gardner spoke about it and it was fine. On BBC News.
Hello, I'm Anita McVeigh, and this is the Iran War Today, our daily news briefing, bringing you up to date with all you need to know from the last 24 hours in the US.
Isaac would probably Kirkify pretty well thinking about it. Has someone done that? Because I think Isaac would Kirkify a lot better than I would.
War with Iran. Let's start with some of today's key developments. Tensions escalate in the Red Sea. Saudi Arabia and the Iran-backed Houthi rebels continue their blockade of one another as 11 people are injured in a suspected Houthi strike inside Saudi. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia signs a defense agreement with Turkey and Pakistan, saying an attack on one of them would be seen as an attack on all three. Reports from Iran say the country's leaders have drafted a bill to regulate traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. We'll assess what the options could be to reopen that vital waterway. Donald Trump again dismisses reports of dwindling U.S. munitions stockpiles and again insists the war with Iran is...
Yeah, you can't be doing that if your name is McVeigh. You cannot be appearing next to the blown up building.
Close to being over.
I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer.
We begin with one of the deadliest days in recent years between Saudi Arabia.
By the way, the Ansar Allah Houthi conflict with Saudi Arabia is actually getting pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys saw this, or I mentioned it the other day on stream. They managed to kill like 30 government-backed troops, and they did a strike in Saudi Arabia kind of quite recently that wounded 11 people. There's also apparently a large ammunition depot has been hit. We'll probably talk a bit more about Yemen tomorrow, but it really does look like it's going to be a descent into full war, which is kind of crazy because it looked like it was the opposite. Is it better to watch on YouTube or on Twitch? Well, on YouTube, technically I get ad revenue, whereas I don't on Twitch, but it's minimal and most of you have ad block anyway, which is fine, but... whichever you fancy, to be honest, mate. Unless you have a Prime, which you then must fucking give to me right fucking now. Okay?
Arabia and the Houthis in Yemen as control over shipping in the Red Sea leads to fresh strikes. 11 civilians were injured in a Houthi attack on Saudi Arabia's border region of Najran. The attack comes 2 days.
Chris, I double-checked. That was 100% a Kirkified picture of Bashar al-Assad. No, it wasn't. That's just what Bashar al-Assad looked like. This is the problem. You think you see Kirk everywhere. That's just what he looked like, my guy.
Days after the Houthis said they had carried out a drone strike on Najran airport. Houthi attacks in central Yemen also reportedly killed at least 30 Yemeni government troops who are backed by Saudi Arabia. Tensions have escalated in recent weeks after the Iranian-backed group announced a naval blockade in the Red Sea and attacked Saudi tankers and oil facilities. Riyadh has responded with strikes on military sites in Yemen.
Oh, by the way, I got another question for you. Did Curious George have a tail?
Don't forget that Red Sea is one of the world's most important shipping routes. Since the war started, Saudi Arabia had been using the Red Sea to export oil, bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. Let's speak to our security correspondent, Frank Gardner. And Frank, you spoke to us earlier in the week about the Saudi-Houthi conflict being a second front in the US-Iran war. Give us your thoughts on the escalation that we're seeing.
Well, this is a case of old scores being settled to some extent, because Saudi Arabia went to war with the Houthis in March 2015, after the Houthis had taken over the whole country, or most of it. They tried to reverse that takeover. They fought for 7 years, a bitter war against the Houthis, mostly bombarding them from the air, but they had ground.
The Houthis definitely engaged in siege-style tactics which impacted civilians, so... But I mean, the Saudi-led bombing campaign and blockade is the key cause of killing. The Saudi bombing campaign, by the way, only killed about 20,000 people directly through bombing, which also shows you the fucking insanity of Gaza and the level of killing and that just Israel was wanting to engage in through their bombing campaign. Israel had killed more than that in like a few months. By the way, Curious George doesn't have a tail. I found this out recently.
Battles as well. The Saudis completely failed to dislodge the Houthis. An estimated 370,000 people died in the ensuing conflict through displacement, hunger, and airstrikes. There was then a ceasefire since 2022, but basically the plaster has been ripped off this wound, and they're at each other's throats again, partly prompted by Saudi Arabia bombing Sana'a airport to try to stop a plane landing from Iran. The Houthis although they are in charge of the poorest Arab country, they are in quite a strong position, rather like Iran.
By the way, this is Frank Gardner, who he always used to come to Exeter and people would watch him talk. He's like a decent-ish journalist. I don't really know that much about him. But, yeah... It is kind of incredible. He just basically admits that the Saudis aren't going to be able to do anything, which is just objectively true. What is the expectation of what the Saudis are going to do through some new bombing campaign? Absolutely fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing will change.
They're militarily weak, but strategically strong, because they sit right next to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait.
America, by the way, also trained Saudi fighter jets pilots whilst they were bombing it. They fully supported them in the bombing campaign.
The choke point at the southern end of the Red Sea, as you mentioned there. So they're able to threaten shipping, and they have indeed, they say, targeted 8 Saudi tankers, which makes it very difficult for Saudi Arabia to get its oil to market. It can't go through the Strait of Hormuz, or it's very difficult and dangerous to export it that way at the moment, because of the Iran-US conflict. It was exporting it through the Red Sea from Yanbu further south. That's now difficult. So this is going to impact the global economy, as well as making life difficult for Saudi Arabia.
Meanwhile, Frank, we've seen Saudi Arabia sign a defense pact with Pakistan and Turkey, which essentially says an attack on one is an attack on...
I think one of the biggest indications that this is a nothing burger, this defense pact, is that... Okay, the biggest indication, I think, is that they're being attacked right now and nothing's happening. Like, they've done an attack and nothing has happened. Like, absolutely fucking nothing has happened. And I don't think they will. They say it's like a purely defensive thing, but I don't know. I don't really see it.
All. How significant is that?
Well, on paper it is significant, but I think this may turn out to be...
What can the Saudis contribute to it? They have a lot of money. The Saudis have, you know, quite advanced defense capabilities because they can spend money on American shit. But obviously, you know, Turkey has a far larger military, and also they have Pakistan has nuclear weapons, so those two contribute a bit more than they do. Pakistan yapping, exactly, yapping. Turkey yapping.
Largely performative. Saudi Arabia loves forming big international alliances. I remember it with a huge fanfare in 2016. It announced some big Islamic nations, a sort of Islamic NATO, and we went down to Saudi to inspect a big sort of parade with people abseiling from helicopters. Nothing came of that. This particular pact, it is significant because these are three important countries. Pakistan.
Like, the thing you could say that maybe is more significant is, as he kind of mentions here, is like, look, maybe this exists in the context of America moving out of, you know, the Middle East, North Africa to some extent because of what Iran has been doing. So maybe it's them moving out and that's it. But even then, it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say that it has that much significance. Turkey has a license to manufacture the F-16. And I got a license to do that too. I just can't be bothered. Turkey can't do shit or its civilians will rise up. So is shit in relation to what? Turk have the guns, Pakistan have the nukes, Saudi has the money. True. I think that's a pretty clear, yeah. The Saudis literally don't have a military. They contract the Yankee Satan to do any military, and the Iranians are currently... I'm not going to read that out, but yes. I'm not going to read that full thing out. It's just defeating the Ansar Allah Houthis is just impossible because they're not some foreign Iranian implant. They're a reflection of quite strong divisions inside of Yemen and years of struggle by the northern tribes against marginalization that they've faced historically in Yemen. So, and also, by the way, they tap into something which is just incredibly popular in Yemen, which is pro-Palestine sentiment.
Has mediated with some degree of success, although not ultimately successful, between the US and Iran. It signed a defense pact already with Saudi Arabia.
Chris, this pact is literally just aimed at Israel. I think that there is even... First of all, I don't think there's much chance that any of these countries get attacked by Israel. Pakistan, maybe, but at this point, I don't think so. Who's the... General Asim Munir is literally the guy. He's like, you know, the guy of the Americans. He's their guy, okay? And even if it were... None of these... You think Saudi Arabia would come to the defense of... would come to the defense of Pakistan if it got bombed by Israel? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I genuinely do not. What did you say? I'm telling you from the Arabic sources. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't feel like it's the case. The non-Houthi Yemenis aren't aligned with Palestine. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not acting as if non-Houthi Yemenis aren't aligned with Palestine. But anyone who's allied with the West is not going to be taking the path that the Houthis are. There's been huge solidarity with the Palestinian cause in Yemen for a massive amount of time. There's a massive amount of time, okay? The Ansar Allah Houthis actually did something. Like, they blocked shipping in the Red Sea in response. That's obviously going to win you support. And yeah, I know that the Houthis have targeted civilians. I know that that's happened. It's more posturing against Israel, but nobody will do shit. I'd be posturing against you if you keep acting up in the chat. The point of the new axis is to try to relieve the economic choke point about putting Iran offside and making it worse. Iran are okay with the Muslim world forming pact. It also feels a little bit pointed towards the UAE, by the way. This is kind of... I don't know if the UAE is going to drop its shit, but there is a sort of axis in the Middle East. There's the axis of secessionists, which was historically... And the axis of authoritarianism and counter-revolution, which historically had the Saudis in. But they kind of moved out of it, and they're now beefing with the UAE. So, yeah... It's just for show to make stronger relationships. I think so too. I don't really see it as like this majorly significant moment, but I think maybe it's pan-Islamic unity. Maybe you're correct about that. The pact is between allies of Israel. Yeah, I was learning. I watched like a quick TRT video, which I can't show because it has tons of music in, but it was a pretty swift thing about like how Pakistan got a nuclear bomb. Wait, what did I do? You did nothing, Gravity Magician. I'm just kind of acting up today. That's what happens when I have a few too many beers last night. Why didn't the UAE, Bahrain, or Qatar join this pact? Qatar's already in that alliance. Qatar doesn't need to join that pact at all. Qatar does not need to join that. Qatar's aligned with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Saudi's a bit more shaky. Saudi was part of the Qatar blockade in 2017, but, you know, they don't give a shit. Like, they don't need to join this pact. I don't specifically know why they didn't join this one. Perhaps it's because, like, nothing is there, to be involved, that's interested in. Ansar Allah controls every single highly populated area in Yemen. The Saudi puppet government is incredibly unpopular and controls the barely inhabited areas. True. Nothing Islamic about the current Muslim rulers. I guess pan-Islamic unity is like a show, maybe, as opposed to what. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Last year, and it's a nuclear armed state, but there's no suggestion in this pact that Pakistan would make.
What's going on with Somaliland? Basically, the UAE. I think one day this will come out and involve Jeffrey Epstein, okay? So the UAE, I mean, there's already some touches on this. Basically, the UAE wants Somaliland so it can build a port there and they can strike the Houthis from somewhere that's kind of much closer, and Israel will no doubt train like a secessionist force to leave Somalia and form this little state. And the great thing is for the UAE and for Israel, you get these states who will not do anything that you don't tell them to do because they owe their entire existence to you, in the sense of they could not act in the ways that they are currently acting without you. It's actually fantastical for, you know, controlling a region.
It's nuclear.
The Financial Times actually has a pretty good article list in them about the UAE right now. I'd recommend it if you don't know much. Pretty good.
Warheads available to Saudi Arabia. Likewise, Turkey has got a huge army, the second biggest in NATO after the United States. But again, there is nothing in this defense pact signed very symbolically in Mecca that actually obliges these countries to come to the aid of another one if attacked. And Saudi Arabia is being attacked from both sides, from Iranian-backed militia.
So the thing is the pact does actually say if any of us are attacked, we will defend. Like, all of us are attacked, you know, that kind of rhetoric. But yeah. He's claiming the opposite.
In Iraq and Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen. So the test of this alliance, whether it's worth anything more than the paper it's written on, will be, if Saudi Arabia is attacked, are they going to do anything?
Okay, Frank, thank you very much. Frank Gardner, our security correspondent. Well, let's turn to the Strait of Hormuz. It's been days since Iran and Oman said they'd reached an agreement on the exact shipping routes commercial ships could use.
Yeah, I don't know, but are they even really at war with Yemen? Hello, Kraith. I hope you're good. Also talks a big game that's BS. Yeah. Rip Gaddafi, rip the United States of Africa. Qatar dreams of being the Switzerland of the Gulf. Yeah, Qatar's leader is like a pervert for, you know, most of them are perverts for fancy cars, building stupid buildings that have no one in, and these dumbass vanity projects. The leader of Qatar is a pervert for diplomacy. The guy absolutely fucking loves it. Go look up the amount of things they've mediated. That is his number one thing.
Transit the vital waterway, and that agreement is yet to be published. But let's just take a moment to look through what's been proposed so far. So we've got a series of graphics, of maps for you to show you the various options. Currently, there are three distinct routes. First of all, we have the Northern Corridor. Now, this is approved by Iran and mostly within their own.
Venezuela is the most colonial-esque in the sense that it's basically just ruled over by a... in the sense that it's basically just ruled over by... like, Marco Rubio rules it. Like, I would really, really, really question whether Delcy Rodriguez even has any involvement at this point. Millet, yeah, he's up to his own shit. Did I say pervert for democracy? I think I said pervert for diplomacy. And no, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You're strangely not saying that to Switzerland. I don't even think Switzerland comes close to what the Qataris have got up to. They seem like actively obsessed with it, and it's more power to them. Right, yeah, okay, yeah. How come it's Arab diplomats getting called perverts? Because I hate Arabs. Yeah, that's why. Should I have said the term had a fetish for? Would that be better? I'm just talking about, like, kind of an obsession with it. But we weren't talking about Swiss diplomats.
Territorial waters, as you can see here. Tehran has asked ships to use this route since mid-June, giving their...
I did hear about the their things. I did hear about Biden's cancer getting worse.
Greater oversight and control.
Chris, you look tired. I am very tired today. I am very tired today. I stayed up too late, and then my friend, I stayed at my friend's house, and they woke me up at like 5 a.m. when they went to bed, and I didn't get back to sleep for like 30 minutes, and then I struggled with light, and it was too hot to have my sleep mask on, and I was just sweaty, and then I struggled it. It's just rough. But no, I apologize if I sounded condescending. I'm hungover, I'm tired, and I'm just struggling, okay?
Of marine traffic in the Strait. Then you have the southern corridor. Now, this route is approved by Oman, as well as the International Maritime...
Oh, we know this shit. We know this shit about this. What else are they talking about? There is an interesting video of Trump, by the way.
Iran has severely depleted U.S. weapons stockpiles. Here's what he told reporters.
We have certain types of munitions, which are very... they may not be as accurate. They may not be, they're not as elite. We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have certain types which are very powerful and very good, and we have an unlimited supply. And
shit, I might have left my sleep mask there. Oh no! Give me a second. Oh crap! Oh bugger! No! Oh no! I'm not gonna be able to sleep. Oh dear! No! 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 Yeah, a mask you put on your face to sleep. I don't have it. I struggle with light. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm tired.
And so we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up. You maybe come up and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally...
I left it at my friend's house. That is gutting. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Massive amounts of ammunition.
Well, let's speak to
white people problems. It is well it is well known that we white people are not allowing black people to have sleep masks.
Our Washington correspondent Daniel Bush. Daniel, what exactly is the US strategy at this?
I don't like the look of this guy. I've had enough of him. You know what, guys? I'm so tired today. I'm incredibly appreciative of that you've all watched me muddle through this so tired. I think I'm going to call it there, and then I'll just be back tomorrow. So as I say, I'll probably do some debates to start off tomorrow, but I'll be starting at 2 p.m, and then I'll be at regular news stuff around 3:30, 4 p.m. latest. That's the cutoff for debates now. So, excuse me. Then I'll just be doing, like, regular stream stuff. I'm going to go ruminate on my lost sleep mask. I thank you all, everyone who became members, Prime supporters, whatever the hell, donated, It helps the channel so much. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. There's a clip up of No Politic here, or there's a Patreon episode, which if any of you are interested, you can hop on the Patreon, get a full extra episode every week, every other week. So yeah, have a great rest of the day. See you guys tomorrow when I'm a little less tired. You pretending to lose sleep mask. No. I'm not ending it because of the sleep mask. I'm just tired as fuck, and it's like, we kind of did a bit about the defense pact. My heart is in it. I'm just tired today. And we've done long streams the rest of the days. So I'll see you guys soon.